Yes. Thank you very much, Famulem, Mina Cherno Alphaba. Just want for spend a couple of seconds and welcome everybody to this live show. I know we scheduled for start 10 minutes earlier, right? But we've been get a little bit of technical arrangements for carry on. So we apologize for starting 10 minutes late. But nonetheless, this is the show. We decided to call this the Frontline Show. And as we mentioned last time, this is going to be a regular feature on Then and Now platform, Then and Now TV and media group or media empire, as the case may be. I decided for continue this conversation as part of the ongoing effort for educate the people of Sierra Leone regarding um, developments as we run into the elections. Today is September 3, a very important day in the calendar because today officially we don't mark the beginning of the electoral calendar. The elections of 2023 that we have been waiting for the last 5 years is now right here. The last time Sierra Leoneans vote for president and maybe by extension members of parliament now during the elections of 2018. And now we prepare again for another general election where we have to vote for a new president and then or to decide for choose a new president. That means a number of things. Either you want the continuation of the current BO regime or you want to seek a replacement to the BO regime. So you're not going to do that, you're not going to participate in that process if you not register for vote. So on today's Frontline show, which is the official beginning of this regular weekly show that's going to come up every Saturday, and then it's going to be hosted by me. Sometimes it will be a straight line discussion, or it will be a discussion where I will be inviting other individuals from Sierra Leone and outside of Sierra Leone, anybody who I think say an expert on the subject matter, for also help me for get a conversation where all of us will discuss a particular subject matter or a topic. In today's discussion, we intend for continue what we've already started a couple of weeks back, which is voter education and electoral education, for educate people then about elections, the importance of elections, the need for elections, and the need and importance for voter participation in elections. And in today's conversation, I decide for bringing a well-known Sierra Leonean as well, a well-known civil society activist, somebody who has been around some of the governance arrangement in the civil society space for a number of years now. Definitely we'll go for introduce and some more. But Mohammed Warise, who was until recently the former director of Democracy Sierra Leone. Democracy Sierra Leone, a civil society organization, one of the oldest civil society organizations back home. So me and Warise intend for talk about voter registration, the importance of voter registration, the significance of voter registration, but most importantly, the role of civil society organizations, and most especially the role of political parties, opposition parties in general, in the democratization process, which are the role of opposition parties in a democracy, the role of opposition parties in elections, the role of opposition parties in enhancing good governance, and the role of opposition parties in representing citizens, in providing quality to our democracy or adding quality to our democracy. This is why democracy is called representative democracy, because it involves individuals and people who represent the general population in various sectors of the administration. In this case, democracy is made up by people both in parliament and outside of parliament, in the executive branch of government, in the judiciary, and other sectors of the administration. So in today's conversation, we are going to talk about political parties, but more specifically, opposition parties, the role of opposition parties in enhancing the quality of democracy in a given society or in a given country, or how opposition parties again can affect the quality of representative democracy in any country. So, for help me talk about this, we're going to bring in uh, Mr. Mohammed Warise, who has been and is still involved in civil society arrangement and anything we got to do with salon and good governance and all of that. And like I say, until recently, a couple of months back or maybe years back, Mr. Waris is now in the United States, but has lived in Sierra Leone before the election of Mada Bio, if I'm not mistaken. Um, has been here almost like myself in exile, so to speak. And me and Mr. Warise will talk about voter registration and the role of opposition parties in a democracy. Like I said, this is not the frontline show. It's going to be a regular weekly show that is going to be hosted by me. In some instances, it's going to be a single conversation with my audience. And at the same time, in other cases, I will bring in Sierra Leoneans, reputable Sierra Leoneans, or any other Sierra Leonean we want to participate in the process of the conversation that has a knowledge on a given subject matter. There will be women, men, young, old, who will search them out and bring them out. And in other cases, I will also bring in non-Sierra Leoneans, people from Africa, outside of Africa, who are experts in world affairs or any other subject where we think say we need some kind of understanding. Part of the process is to enhance political education of the Sierra Leonean public and also heighten the conversation around good governance in a bid to enhance citizen participation. So I will ask Kuna for help. We share the link and invite more people into the conversation. My name again is Cheruno Alpha Emba. I am the editor-in-chief of the African Express. And among other things, as you already know me, I don't produce, lead the process for investigate the BO regime and highlight the evidence of corruption involving the president, the wife of the president, or the family members of the president, and other leading sectors of the administration where individuals have been looting money for the last 4 years of the BO administration. But most especially, I've been a journalist in Sierra Leone for the last at least 20 years, and my work goes back not just under Ernest Krumah. I get essays and articles covering way back from the days of Tijan Kaba right into the current period where some of us begin following. Maybe back then, because of the absence of what we have now today, WhatsApp and more information technology, few people are aware of that. So today we are thankful that we can have this conversation with people all around the world. So before we start the show, we know that today the electoral calendar don't start in alone. We see the beginning of the electoral process where voter registration has started in some parts of the country. Other parts of the country, registration centers are still closed. We're going to talk about that. Why is it that we, for the first time, we'd experience this rotational registration instead of nationwide registration simultaneously happening? The second thing we will try for also open up the phone lines. When I see now the screen, as we go along, we're going to open the phone line where people will call in and make a contribution either by telling us what they had or what they experienced today with the start of registration, or if they can get any other question that they want to ask in the process. The number now +44 77 401 07250. 4477 401 07250. So for me, cannot prolong the conversation while we not share the links to various people and invite various people into this conversation. We go show videos that we collected today, documenting people's experiences. If I know a couple of, I think a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago, we've been on launch on the Right to Justice website. Two things: a form where people can report, evidence of atrocities that are happening in Sierra Leone following the Augustine protest. These are evidence of extrajudicial killings and all of that. And at the same time, we initiate a voter monitoring campaign, an online voter monitoring campaign, a live campaign a tool on our website, and also a phone number, the same phone number, where people, ordinary people who will go to register, want to go register, want to get people to register, they experience difficulties or any problem in the registration process, when I can send them to we. This, for the question of the election, this is in addition to dozens of people who we have been on deployed quietly across the country in specific areas of the country for observe registration. And this is important because me wake up today 2 a.m. my own time in Illinois, which would be like 7 o'clock. No, 7 o'clock in Sierra Leone. 7 a.m. for see how we go coordinate the monitoring campaign. And it was very useful. We find out, say, many people with platforms, or media platforms, whether back home in the country and outside of the country, appear not to have paid attention as they normally do to other events where they happen in real time, as they used to. For example, when protests been happen, including the sit-at-home protest and even the August 10 protest, we even get live television and live social media broadcast of images that were coming up, including even the protests yesterday at the Sierra Leone Embassy in DC. We have these live feeds coming from social media platforms. Except I am wrong, but there has been little social media attention in terms of today's event, the beginning of registration today, where but we've been already deployed people, so we were able to get videos from our own people on the ground and audios and photographs, people highlighting difficulties where hundreds of people come on for register, and in most cases some registration centers did not register even up to 30 people. The machines were broken, they're not able to come on, technical difficulties. But again, this is experienced only in particular areas of the country, and we observe also a difference in other parts of the country. Especially, we get videos of Bo Kenema, where we had no problem with registration, and in Freetown, in parts of McKinney, and other parts of the country in the north, northwest, and western region, there were difficulties with people accessing registration. So all of these are issues that we will need for discourse. And these are not accidental, they are not surprising, because if I remember, way back in May, when we started to talk about Parliament and the Public Elections Bill, the National Identification Number, the NCRA, and all that, and when we invite them for watch Parliament and call on our MPs, call on the Speaker of Parliament, we don't speculate these things, we don't point to the identity go happen. Some of our members of Parliament have been promising us, said, even, they're not expecting to happen, because according to them, the law way for allow what will happen today, they may not remove them from the intended bill, the bill where they intended to include that. So all of this, and that we want to talk about today. But I will pause there for now, and we show a couple of videos of today's, highlighting today's experiences. So before we pause, please.
Fambul una morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today, now the 3rd of September 2022, the registration don't start. Now this part of the country, I come with my team, now the far east of Freetown, and I come observe the registration process. Of course, you know, register the NCRA. So you don't register the NCRA, eh?
No, I don't be registered.
So now we go under now the seal with, right?
Let's make our way.
Let's go through.
This now Ward 58, one of the key zoning of Ward 58, constituency 068 in Abo. So far the registration they go on smoothly. Everybody they in line, they register. So all man they wait for in time, then you register. So far no complaint, no kind inside it. Everything they go on smoothly. The process they go on smoothly. Everybody they go into the process and they get registered. If you want the way then come with they not be registered, with the NCRA. They don't ask them for wait small while then they look into the issue for register and smoothly. So far nobody no come out, nobody they don't ask no one out it.
You know register the NCRA? So you don't register. Fumble una morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today, now the 3rd of September 2022, the registration don't start. Now this is part of
As una dey see, the snapping machine, una dey work. Na 36 for 1 month.
You know easy, man. You know easy. Just snap me. Fambule, me na councillor Augustine, I'm a Bangura where people like call councillor them dad. Councillor for Ward 434. The registration does start today when at the 3rd of September of this month, 2022. The problems they will they get now, various centers, them not to be center no more. Now Western area, you will find out say the centers are supposed for open. The centers are supposed for open 7 o'clock, but the centers are not able for open till 10 o'clock. And all they open 10 o'clock again. From 10 o'clock when they open up till now, we're not even getting 11 people are registered. We don't go inside the center, I don't go prove them. What the people them tell me say they say the machine will go tell the one. And next no be ever tell we say that process they get for the go on. And people don't leave their places and from this 6 o'clock, they don't come in a queue. After they see the crowd no more. None but they are not able to register it. So they are all supposed to make. They are able to put things in place tomorrow. Let this problem never happen again. And that's what we see now.
Well,
As una dey see, the snapping machine, una dey work. Na 36 for 1 month.
The constituency, yeah, the ward, the chiefdom, where they center.
So like now which word or consensus way down the fall? That machine. Banti Kamaranka. Yeah, I then come up with parts there. Because I they see first time voters them, not to them sit down so back tender.
No, the first time voters they take information, verification of which the ID card. Then when they go change them, tomorrow they can do it.
For left the state tomorrow, meaning one day missing.
One day missing for this.
We they not go able to place again. You see? Because I believe say them first time voters they are all then come for can do the snapping.
The Bobo them done this one.
You own Bobo back?
Yeah, no, me own Bobo 916 this. So I know first of all yeah, now me girl picking, maybe girl picking 918. And then seniors of 8.
Fumble una morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today, now the 3rd of September 2022, the registration don't start. Now this is part of the country. I come with my team. Now the far east of Freetown, and I come for camp observe. You know register the NCRA? So you don't register the NCRA, eh?
No, I don't be registered.
So now we go under now they still wait, right?
They say make a wait.
Let's go through the NCRA first.
The your machine there for camp.
Okay.
Another different machine.
But you vote 2018.
Yes.
2018, they will register you. Now, one day votes, no votes, good night, I will wait.
Yeah, register. I go to 100,000. Because the police are going and they say don't die. This is an Andrea.
This now Ward 58, one of the key zoning of Ward 58 constituencies.
yes. Thank you very much for those of you who are already here, and please share the link and let's invite a lot of people or more people who are available to be part of the conversation. But for make we know delay, what we just show or what we just see now evidence of the difficulties encountered by citizens of Sierra Leone, the one that we come out today for go register. And we want to establish the registration is a constitutional right. Government get an obligation for make sure say any government that's a democratic government, a government that's elected through an election, that comes to power through an election, get the responsibility also for create a conducive electoral environment for make sure say anybody
Registration
will
they go on here
qualify.
smoothly in Abo, Ward 265. Everybody there in line, everybody there at the
Okay, anybody will qualify for be registered as a voter should have the opportunity to be registered. If you get the opportunity for register and for freely register, easily register and participate in the electoral process. What we experience today, not a thing we surprise we. And the only thing that very unusual registration. What is unusual means say not normal. We organized registration in 1996. Okay, since the introduction of the multi-party constitution. Multi-party constitution means say the 1991 constitution allow multiple parties to exist. They also say every 5 years for organized general election. We can also organize several other elections and local council elections and different kinds of elections, by-elections and all that. But for general elections, we don't get 1996 registration for 1996 election, registration for 2002, registration for 2007, registration for 2018, and now people they plan for register for vote next year, June 2023. So we're gonna find out this is almost 25 years, we could say, or more, since the war done almost 2002 to now, 20 years. So that na 25 years of an electoral process, which means na quarter of a century. Now we don't practice this vote since we introduced the one-party constitution. I mean, since we get rid of one-party constitution and get a multi-party constitution. If we don't practice for register people then, and make people then vote and participate in the electoral process for 25 years, we don't be sophisticated enough now for organized election without any trouble, any hala. So the first question we will get for ask yourself, why when it comes to the question of voter registration, we get these difficulties and problem? People they turn up for register, they're not able for register. People come at the line, they don't need the whole day for register, no problem. Why again? For the first time after 25 years since we begin do registration for multi-party elections, we don't get it into a situation where now half and half registration would they do. Half and half registration, we register one small corner of the country, we jump in another corner of the country. We get a situation where say you turn up in a registration center, now one small machine there, or the machine of the work. What is wrong with the country? That is something is wrong. This not only won't forget about even people and right or their ability for vote, it tell you about something done wrong with the governance arrangement of the country. Because if we're not able to provide the environment and the tools were necessary for enhance with democracy, what is wrong with the country? And that is all of these questions. We can examine them. How much money them budget for this election, for the procurement of computers. And when we talk about this money business, like when they talk about the amount of money withdrawn and paid for procurement and all of these things, I'm not talking about guess or estimate or what next. I'm talking about money that I have seen physically taken out of the bank and transferred for supposed procurement, how the procurement happened, the company choosing would I get the company or would I not get the company. This is all part of the conversation that we're going to have today. But the key question, why is it difficult to organize an election in today's Sierra Leone? Why do we have to organize half and half election, corner? We register one small corner, people that turn up for registration. Usually the difficulties people get with voter registration, now you get registration centers, people don't turn up for register, they say voter apathy, people don't want to participate in the election because they don't believe in the process. But now we get hundreds of people Left all the way they do in the country with all waiting they happen, so the stress and the difficulties, and decide for come out for car register. And now we not get, it can't be the machine they know they're able for register, we don't see. What caused this? And why is this happening right now? So if we now remember, we don't talk about the public elections bill, and we talk, say, in June, especially on June 20, parliamentarians began to discuss what was supposed to be a Public Elections Act, a new law for change how they organize the election. And on the side of the African Express, now we've been forced to bring that to public attention. We say parliamentarians, now opposition members, the parliament with the ruling party members, they don't tie bagging. They want to change the way how they organize the election by bring in law for organizing. We're going to make it difficult for them for vote. We even talk, say, they want to make sure, say, people the way one for vote, where they suspect, say, one for vote against Mother Bill, no go able for vote in the election. Now that's not the law where they want pass. We say one way where they want for do, they want introduce something and called the NIN, the National Identification Number. That if you don't get NIN, you don't go able for register and vote. If it's inside the law, the proportional representation, we highlight all them here. We tell una, say, una ask una MPs that we begin that discussion. We talk to una members of parliament, some of the opposition people, and talk, say, they not support the law. But I know how that drama they pass now. How we've been calling share Speaker of Parliament to members of Parliament, I call them or tell them, say, I don't want the law. The argument go on for nearly 2 months. On July 27, 9 Parliament find out, say, they're not going to pass the law according to how they intend for passing. If they pass that law, what mean they happen today? So, for them be something illegal. That means, say, therefore, we talk, say, no, now the law give you the right for do what and they do so. For make sure, say, they register half and halfway. Say, if you not get NCRA, you not get the NIN number, you're not able for register. You for first get the number before you register. Now, the members of parliament tell we on July 27, say, the NIN and all the other bad things that we've been inside the law, we've been they argue about, they don't pull up. That now you can register free without NIN. Today, registration start. We can find out, not only say the members of parliament that like you now, say that we don't pull money from the law and go register without NIN. We don't find out, say, you forget NIN for register. Now the NCRA, the new record, that they use. In fact, now the database of the National Civil Registration Authority, and then count now the electoral center. Where you come, and that is first in the look if you name the day before you would serve. That's one aspect. And that not in that been for happen if they pass the law. Now, even though they say they not pass the law, the Electoral Commission said that they only conduct registration with the NCRA, their own data. The question is, which law give them the mandate for do that? Because electoral activity for be accompanied by law, by the law and the legislation will give them that right day. So these are all the questions. Why NEC decide for do this? The number 2 question again, people then turn up for register, machine they know they work. Not only the machine know they work, the time we take people, no registration center today, no register up to 100 people, even though we get thousands of people will come up for register. Some side are 30 people, some side 15 people, some side are 50 people, some side are 70 people. That are the highest they will get. In some places, the machine, I know they work safe. People, then, as we see in the video, then people then turn up for register. But again, this is not the whole country happen. No. It happened at Freetown, it happened at Putloko, it happened at Cambia, it happened at Makeni, it happened at Kamakwe, and Kabbalah, and other places there, or any other area in the north, northwest, and western area where pulling registration centers they happen. And not forget, this is not the side where Madabio from August 10 talks and the terrorists then they. The terrorists we do the protest. Now decide where the protest happen, and they no more get problem today for register. Decide where protest not happen, with terrorists they know they decide where they believe in SLPP supporter then they registration smooth. We're not going for embellish and begin pretend say we know they see the problem. So the question now, waiting at the relationship between that law where Parliament be one pass, una MP they be deny, say not to secret them be one do. And the violence will not happen now Freetown and other part that did not, where they say they APC supporter and they call them terrorists. And it can be the way registration start today. We don't know the one they waiting at their side and they don't know able for register. How they want for register. And people then come on at their side, they more than the people that will come on Bo and Kenny, my friends, look at the video there. You have more lines, long lines na Freetown, and longer lines in other part of the north, put local area and that side and day, that you see in a Bo, that the video they will show. So more people turned up to register in opposition strongholds, more than the people that will turn up at the ruling party strongholds today from the video they will see and the pictures they will get. Which means more people register at the side and today, with and less come up for register at the south and the east. And more people will come up for register at the western area and the northwest and northern part of the country, as we see at the video there. And then the one that will come up plenty for register, na small able register. So no able register safe. Whereas the small one that will come up for register at the south and the east, then able register easy and more than the one that will come up plenty for register. These are the realities. Why? And the other most important question, why we not get the live broadcast what we see from online platform, social media platform them now, and the television AYV where they show the same people will they show the live protest on August 10, August 8, August 9, August 10. Social media or traditional media, whether not opposition media, non-opposition media, why some of them not be the show to the live broadcast, live of the difficulties people they face today. But there was small video they were able to source out for sure. These are the important questions. So for me to talk about this, I will bring in Mohamed Warise, Mr. Mohamed Warise of Democracy Sierra Leone, formerly Democracy Sierra Leone, for help we for talk about this, talk about voter registration, talk about make we examine the role of civil society, the role of opposition parties in particular in enhancing our democracy. So I don't do this opening up, and along the process, we get for also introduce or open up the phone line. So make we hear it from Sierra Leoneans across the world who are part of this conversation, make them give it an input and their understanding, or maybe even share experiences about what they saw today, how they see what happened today, and or maybe if they go for register, how they see them. So thank you very much, Mr. Warise, for being
I talk to all Mr. Lomfambuleni for come out na door and go register, because now you're right as citizen. So today, UK and Salone are out and about all over Freetown to observe voter registration. This is really important. For every person in Salone, it's your opportunity to make your voice heard at the ballot box. So register now from September the 3rd through to October the 4th. If you see we tell we adu.
Yes. As soon as I see that, now the British High Commissioner also want to underline the fact that the international community and they also pay attention to what is happening in Sierra Leone. It's not happening in the dark. So thank you again, Mr. Warise, for being here. And again, good to see you. I don't not see you on screen. I mean, I see you on Freetown all the time. And I also, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Thank you very much, Erno.
Yes. So wonderful pleasure. Today I made the interview. Mr. Don't interview me not too much. So Mr. Don't take the interview, the host.
Platform, yes.
So yeah. As I've been saying in my introduction, definitely we want to get a conversation around democracy generally. And secondly, again, we want to talk about the role of civil society. Most importantly, we want to examine the role of opposition parties. By the way, I listened to the audio that you released a couple of days ago, which I think a very good audio where you examine the role of parliament and as it relates to opposition in parliament, the role of the opposition in parliament, and how the responsibility of an opposition party in parliament. So that inspired me a lot for say, make I bring you on this platform so we will get this collective conversation around issues of democracy and the role of parliament, role of opposition parties in general. But before we go first, help me for introduce yourself, who you are and where you are, and what you've been doing before the Bureau administration, and what you have been doing for the last 4 years. Long, compound question in one word.
a little bit long, but it's good, you know. I want to tell you, first of all, Cheryl, I want to tell you thank you. My daddy, the person who met me, I'm my uncle, but I call him my daddy. You know, you say, when you want to tell person, thank you for the good work you don't do, you say, not get money, not get rest. It's just pray for them. You say, thank you for pray for them. You say, because when you pray for person, the blessing, they last longer than we get money. We get money, so take person one come and spend them. You don't done. You know, so every other Sierra Leonean, we mean well for Sierra Leone, I think, say, for the tell you thank you, and for the bless you, and for the pray for you, because they tell you all the talk about Sierra Leone when corruption, then you stand against. And what make me tell you thank you more, because you don't take you fight from just writing to now coming on air. Let people listen to you. Let people them understand what you defend for. Let them understand I'm better. Let them see I'm, you know, let them see you in person, because most times when they talk, people not see your face, they're not going to know how genuine you be. And for me, what you don't stand out during all this time, now you independence. The fact say you are independent, you work outside APC, you work outside SLPP, you work outside any other political interest except the people of Sierra Leone interest. So for me, I have to tell you thank you, and I have to say, like my uncle can say, may God bless you. If I've been there near you, I will put your hand on my head. I will put my hand on your head. You know what I mean? I will put my hand on your head for tell you thank you. Plenty, thank you. Also, I have to tell then and now, thank you. Chroma, I have to say to them, the person we get this platform, I have to say thank you to them. And any other person where they do social media programs for promote with democracy in Sierra Leone, because it's not an easy fight. You know, it's not for maintain democracy, not an easy thing at all. When I can bring when I start about how for maintain and going forward amidst greedy, selfish, and wicked politicians, trust me, very, very difficult. So I have to tell and thank you. General, based on what I see, based on what I see in Sierra Leone this morning, me face the beam with smiles, because I see the people resolve. You know, the people that resolve for come out for register. I see the people determination for say, come rain, come shine. This now August. We just don't done August. We don't jump into September where the rains are still around. But you see, say the people that resolve, Cherno, say we supposed to register. For me, I make you say the beam with smile, because I know say once we people able to register and register in the numbers, regardless of all the frustrations, of all the challenges we get from there out there, I believe say we go able to achieve the objective. The objective now for make sure say this rogue person, this rogue leader, this person who have for stifle democracy, where they try for stifle freedom and expression, it go through the ballot box. And I have to tell the international community, thank you. You know, the facts now that they focused on Sierra Leone so much that now you see the international community say, they tell me say the sending observers for let them go observe this registration process. It not ever happen at Sierra Leone. It not ever happen. I start for register since 1996 for vote. I know one they see international observers then come and say we want for begin observe from registration process. Then can they around few and you know, but for let you see the British High Commissioner, the European, I mean these people, they go out now the field, they go observe what they do. Trust me, it's a marker that the international focus they on Sierra Leone and the one for CC, Sierra Leone maintain in democracy. Sierra Leone in democracy, not slide off as we don't see it happen, because we don't see in Sierra Leone what you call state capture. The president, that make you see money not the channel. Don't use money for do all kinds of things. Don't use power for suppress, whether they suppress, you know, but we'll kind to that discussion the proper. You asked me about what I done they do. In the last 10 years, up to 2018, I've been the work with Democracy Sierra Leone. Before I came to Democracy Sierra Leone, I worked with an international NGO. Usai, I've been do Usai become the program coordinator. From there, now I go Democracy Sierra Leone. Democracy Sierra Leone, I did with them for 10 years, from Western Area Coordinator to National Coordinator and Executive Director eventually. And one thing what I do thoroughly while I work with Democracy Sierra Leone, Now for work with Parliament. I work with Parliament during an SC term, 0.2 terms them, and then 2018 I be left Parliament. So I get Boku experience when it comes to working with parliamentarians Boku experience when it comes to working at parliamentarians and their role in a democracy. Boku experience seeing, hearing, and working with parliamentarians will be the whole government accountable. So from my own perspective, from your experience, now that you can say I didn't do that particular audio and point out the fact, say, the opposition will get now, that's what they're doing, they're either weak or they don't compromise. They don't compromise to the extent that they not get that kind of voice anymore. That voice will be Sabi, 1996, will be see opposition, John Kefa Smart. They not get that kind of voice will be see 2002, where Anas Komad have been opposition leader. They not get that kind of voice will be see 2007, we've been getting them Bubake Jabi and these guys, you know, when I've been opposition leaders. They not get that kind of voice. The voice system, then the silence as we go, and a more deafening, the silence more deafening this time around with this parliament. Even though we get 4 political parties, the ruling party, you get 3 other opposition parties in the parliament. You find out say the silence of the opposition at parliament is so deafening amidst all waiting to happen, corruption. The not to just ordinary corruption from the highest office in the land to the lowest parastatal in the state. You know, nobody's asking anything, nobody's talking. You know, for me, I think say it is very, very sad. But as we go, I'll continue to talk about the thing that I don't do with Parliament, how I work with Parliament, and what I'm experience we have for share with the process, so that then we'll get a rethink and say, with democracy, it's on the brink. With democracy, it's on the brink. If we give Madabio a second term, it means with democracy will collapse. Because in first 4 years, we see in performance, we see how you don't manage with democracy, we see the disunity. Not get me wrong, we been get disunity. Not get me wrong, we been get tribalism. Not get me wrong, we been get regionalism. But what we see now, Cherno, it don't go to the point that the international community, international reports don't pick up the fact, say, the president, they use regionalism, they use tribalism, they use divide and rule for manage with democracy. We're very, very dangerous. And it don't go beyond that. It don't become so bold that it believes they don't capture the states, including key opposition figures. We don't capture into silence. They're able for talk, what they're supposed to talk. They're able for do what they're supposed to do. They're able for act on thing them way and opposition for act on. I think say it don't embolden that president for believe say nobody not like him. That's what I do. He go do what he want for do. And I'm glad for Una, trust me, for bring up them program they have. For ensure say the people of Sierra don't get an alternative. Just like what you say from Brooklyn, from when morning. This I from 4 o'clock this morning. I follow the WhatsApp. I don't ever see. I know what no see no post yet where AYV post still go monitor. SLBC post now still go monitor. But during the demonstration, we saw all of those things. By the time they clean the demonstration, TV, radio, this and that, and they all over the different interview people like SLBC, you know, the AYV. But here is a national call where people and they out in their hundreds of thousands for go register. We not see them. The media are absent. They never talk anything. It's scary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Warise. That was a wonderful introduction, and you almost make I feel say missing a part of the audience now instead of becoming the host. You know, I have seen you around for a number of years, and I decided basically to start this maiden show with you for a number of things. One, your experience working as civil society activist in a salon. 2, not only civil society activists, but civil society activists that works on democracy, which is a larger domain of political activity or a larger sphere. Not only that, I know you did a lot of work with Parliament. But before we come into the role of, opposition parties in this direction and the role of Parliament, what do you get for say, looking at democracy, looking at the bio administration and the civil society landscape of today? civil society landscape as somebody where operate within that civil society space. What will you say regarding the current space, the civil society landscape in Sierra Leone as we have it now? Just in brief, before I come say, can you compare the differences between what you experienced in the 10 years of the Kuruma regime, interact with other civil society organizations, and what we have today? What is the difference? How can you assess? How are you going to assess the civil society landscape today as somebody who has been in civil society for all your life?
The discussion it been open at the time. You find out say we they engage on several issues. You go see civil society where they for this issue. You go see civil society where they against this issue. You go see civil society where, but what you mean good? Now the fact say platform them in day we're ready for accept what he say in arguments. They are ready for accept other people them. Their arguments when a civil society them. The space being open. You know, it's so open, it's so transparent. They don't call me in the morning. We don't go sit down. We don't discuss these issues. We don't discuss these things. How we get for go, waiting at the for, waiting at the against. I still remember somebody pull up one permit discussion them with James Lai. When I don't know if you're the coordinator for new. Still, somebody pull up that discussion they will be getting at SNBC. Why did they tell them the shortcomings of the National Electoral Commission at the time? You know, in 2017, I been telling them about the shortcomings of the National Electoral Commission, and James Lai was there, I think, defending. But it is so open, you know, when they discuss, nobody not get no malice for nobody because we believe say it's a democracy. You know, we can discuss. That is absent. I know the area that kind thing anymore. I know they see them anymore, and that make them very very dangerous. Because stations, them popular radio stations, them they will just they wait for opportunity for invite the people away. Then feel say it easy. We will talk within the state while let them talk. You know, look at the Star TV. I wonder if they don't give them permit for let them continue for broadcast because we see they don't close up. We don't know what will happen with the one day it. We hope so they not give them permit because it's the one panel station the way we see say Star TV they bring up alternative voices. You know. If you want them, they do them. But in this particular time, around this time, there should be discussions. There should be ongoing, open debates. Which citizens will call, they participate, they talk about what they challenges them, now the different communities them. They talk about what. In fact, they help NEC go a long way for ensure say NEC do what they're supposed to do. NEC grab and say, oh, hold on. But now what will you see? NEC will wait until the British High Commissioner pull up a statement or pull out a statement, say, oh, well, we so. And they say we see next they come say, oh, we don't suspect say there has been challenges. After a whole day don't spent, then they'll not register people that were supposed to, even not up to 10%, especially in the opposition stronghold. So for me, why you close the space for let people participate, let them get open participation, let them get open discussion about how civil society for work in the state. So that they trust me, Chairman, it is absent. Nobody not get for lie about that. Nobody not get, because we need to see the evidence then. You know what I mean? We need to see the evidence then. Those days, it doesn't matter. Go to 98.1, go to AYV, go to just open your radio station in the morning. You will hear the discussions then. It's the day. Now what's in the happy for the day? You know, so I think that stops off our way to
the I asked the question, and I think you speak exactly to the point, which is the fact that you don't get a dividing line today between even among civil society in the past. When you get a national conversation like what is happening today, you have even between politicians or political parties, you will see the difference in the argument. Between journalists, you will see the difference in the argument. Between civil society, you will also identify. They say this civil society, they for government, this otherwise they for opposition.
Exactly.
Which is not a bad thing because it deals with the divergence in society. People not have a collective voice. So my question comes from the point that we're not able to distinguish anymore in Sierra Leone between opposition and ruling party. We're not able to distinguish between civil society for or against a given issue. There appears to be a collective unity with whatever is happening in the country to the extent that there is collective silence over a consensus. So what do you think say account for this national consensus, even when things are going bad? Even when things are going bad, there's silence on the part of the media, there is silence on the part of civil society. There's not just argument, there's not only the absence of conversation or disagreement or divergence in views, but there's collective silence among all of these components in society. How did this come about in 4 years?
State capture. I start to talk about state capture, Cherno. The fact now that when you say state capture, it's not just limited to the government micromanaging, then government institutions, then parastatals, and then institutions that are supposed to be independent, like the Auditor General's office, like the NEC, like not just stop at that one day. State capture go beyond that one day. It go to civil society. I remember quite well. Marcella had been very critical about the census. Marcella and Sambasisi, I mean, he been very critical about the census and the process. Then what you wear, all of a sudden you see Ben Kafara, the SFP, the Stooge, you see inside the pull press release. Say, oh, well, they go for begin for investigate new. They go for begin investigate new the books them, the accounts them. So what you now they tell you now the fact say that this now the plan where the Mother Bureau regime put in place for ensure say they use the state institution and they for capture not just civil society, even the opposition. If the opposition not silence them into they not put them to so much silence, they not capture them to so much silence that the Yunkelao, the chairman of the APC, the Salamina of the C4C, the parliament, they cannot say anymore. These people cannot come out and talk anymore. Either they don't sell out completely, or maybe somebody they wait for let them make a running mate of the either Alassane, or they make a running mate now Adusan in party. You understand? So for me, these people are always been talk about change. These people always talk about they all don't just go into silence. And I think say that now the complete state capture we talk about now, and the danger that it will erode with democracy very, very soon. Very, very soon. With democracy will be eroded with this kind of state capture. Now that make inflation just rise in the country, Cherno. Now that make you find out say inflation almost 30-something% now, because money not there. You get for bribe, most of these people you get for bribe them. Most of these things you get for pay these media houses. Most of these civil society you get for pay them. So how you get money for manage the affairs of the common man, of the for subsidize for fuel, for subsidize for the rice, it's not possible. So now make we own global crisis, the way they affect we together with the state capture, now because government is spend excessive panting them we're not supposed to spend money for. Because it not do well over the last 4 years, you not do well, you not do nothing. So what he just believe now for buying way. Now that make you see somebody like the first lady, they go now radio, they go na social media, they speak confidently, say they will beat the opposition hands down, they will win the forthcoming election, even though the election not carry to, even though say institution don't agree, say they not do well these 4 years, but yet it believe so much say they will win the coming elections hands down. Now because of all of these things, they know say they don't compromise a lot of people. They know say they don't capture the state to the point that people the way supposed to be vocal, if we will say, okay, maybe me an independent man talk. Now way station invite you, now way radio invite you. Now you go talk, but when you not get a platform, how you go talk? So for me, I think say it is scary, it is dangerous. But like I say, what make I be being with smile this morning now because I see the result of people of Sierra. I see the pictures. Now the opposition stronghold, Freetown, the North. I see how people are determined to come out for register vote. For me, it's gonna be gloomy, but at the end of it all, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. So you talk about the cause or the reason why organizations, in the case of civil society, or maybe in the case of political parties, why individuals become compromised, either because of economic reasons, in this case, where the government bribes people into compliance, or in pursuit of their own individual ambitions, whether economic or political ambition, they also find an interest in for form an alliance with the
government.
With government. But most especially, again, the government, because the government control particular institutions, which I find which all of this I think are true in the current Sierra Leonean landscape, in my view, based on what I know, where institutions are used as instruments for also blackmail people into compliance, basically threatening people into compliance. And I just want to say, as they go along, we got to open the phone lines for people make them contribution and talk about it. I just want to lay the premise of all of these issues before we go into
before you don't know the channel, like I pick on something quick. Something they will not ever seen as Sierra Leone.
No, the question I want to ask, and before you intervene, are the fact that how all of these three issues play out. For example, the use of corruption as both a disabling factor to opposition parties, like you say in the case where a civil society organization or activist becomes aggressive and the government say, hey, we'll get corruption case on you, or we'll come after you. Or is that also the case with political parties and other groups? How these three tendencies, the desire on the part of politicians and political activists, and also civil society, the media, for be willing to be co-opted, or where these groups, they also find an interest for, say, in pursuit of our own economic or political interest, we find, say, we for support this government, that will enhance we. And in cases where people have to be blackmailed into silence or threatened through the use of corruption stories or manufactured cases against them. How then three tendencies that all affect widely all of the opposition politics, civil society landscape, and the media generally?
General, a broad question you ask, but for me, it's all part and parcel of, it's all the same thing. The facts say the president corrupt, so he decides, say, make her corrupt other people, or make her scare other people for make them afraid for talk. Make scare other people for make them afraid for talk. Like certain civil society, we want for talk, we ready for talk. You get the institution that we ready for through them institutions, then civil society, then they into perpetual silence. For example, you say, oh, the National Elections Watch, we therefore begin going into our books just because they never discuss a particular national issue. For me, I think say it come back to that widespread corruption, because if my books are clean, if my books are okay, I'm not saying nothing wrong, trust me, I'll continue for do what I'm supposed to do. I'll continue for say waiting I want for say. Because of the simple fact now that when you say they affect the National Election Watch, because you want to silence them, National Election Watch now are big an institution that they're supposed to get their books right. They're supposed to get them accounts them. They're supposed to get their accounts right. Go to the opposition. If you're not opposition, you know, say if you don't play in corruption, you get something for good corruption, left the stage. Where the kitchen one, they say, if you're able to stay inside it, come on and do. So for me, it's all been done because certain people not get integrity. Certain people not get the resolve. Certain people not believe in the Sierra Leone who's supposed to get, who don't talk so for make. The Sierra Leone website, somebody for free for come on radio, television and say what you want to say. Somebody for free for come on radio station and say, Mr. President, what you do so is not fine. Somebody for come on, who don't see Sierra Leone, we don't reach a peak in Sierra Leone side. You get the awareness time newspaper where they take the president, get a horn, put on a front page. We not reach a point to say Chernobyl, they go to Sierra Leone, the Africanist press, he published a corruption report against the government and incumbent government. Nobody not touch them. But it is not possible anymore. And nobody is talking about it. Even the one the way they are the opposition, we're supposed to talk about them. They need to talk about them. They don't want to talk about them. They don't want to talk about them because at some point they don't compromise. At some point, then they get another interest within the pursue. We're not to the people, the general people, and the general populace in interest. And all what and there are the resolve to, Chairman, what you resolve to. Now for say, with democracy, it's on the brink. With democracy, it even well. You know, we're not for hide for talk that one. They say this deafening silence means with democracy, they're on the verge of collapse. And that is why the people in Sierra Leone, we get for ready, we get for resolve, not about demonstration, not about going out anymore, not about facing the government pampalava. We get for ready using the ballot box for remove this government. They try to do all of these things. I think, say, Cherno, like I say, you question a bulky, a broad, and I think, say, we are going to untie them as we go into the discussion. What I'm going for say, look like what's happy with an institution which is supposed to be an independent institution, the electoral commission.
I want make a whole thoughts and day first. We'll take a little break.
Okay.
Then when we come back, but I want make people a note say let's forget for participate now. When we take this break, we'll come back and begin examine now voter registration, the institutions and the role, and then we will step into the third part of the conversation. Thank you for the introduction, and thanks to all those who are watching. And please share the link, invite more people for benefit and take part in the conversation. And hold on.
Try for
this break.
Arrange them fine while the registration they go on smoothly. From this morning registration starts. So many people them don't register, and then as well registration they go on smoothly. People then they come in massive number and then they register and they encourage them to register and they talk to them and then they take their time while then they adjust them carefully to make them register. So the registration they go on here smoothly now. 265 Nabo. Yeah. Everybody in a line, everybody but who don't come, they don't register. Other people in back don't come align and they register.
Good afternoon, good evening. Today, now the 3rd of September 2022, the registration don't start. Now this part of the country, I come with my team. Now the far east of Freetown. And I come observe the registration process. Of course, we get a lot of people and we see Timap Nadusu, the people
look for homes.
NCRE, they say until and unless they go to the NCRE before they allow them to go to the next procedures. So they didn't do so. They not allow them to go through the NCRE. NCRE staffs they not carry it. NCRE people they not carry it to the machine. And one green machine they use. One green machine they use for the registration. The NCRE staffs they not carry it. So now if you not go through the NCRE, you know we go through the voters registration. Thank you very much. Once again today, now the 3rd of September 2022, the registration starts in Ayasu and Amasona. We don't see everything. Thank you.
You know, easy, man. You know, easy. Just smart move.
Fambulem, Mina Councillor Augustine, Lima Bangura, where people like call Councillor them that. Councillor for Ward 434. The registration does start today when at the 3rd of September of this month, 2022. The problems they will get now, various centers, they're not to this center no more. Now Western area, you find out say the centers are supposed for open. The centers are supposed for open 7 o'clock, but the centers are not able for open till 10 o'clock. And all they open 10 o'clock again. From 10 o'clock when they open up till now, we're not able to get 11 people that register it. Me don't go inside the center, I don't go prove them. What the people them tell me say they say the machine where go tell the wham. And next no be ever tell we say that process they get for the go on. And people don't left their places and from this 6 o'clock, they don't come in a queue. After they see the crowd no more. None but they are not able to register it. So they are all for to make. They are able to put things in place tomorrow. Let this problem never happen again. And that's how we see them. You see?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. As soon as I don't see
Fumble una morning. Good afternoon, good evening.
As soon as I don't see now, those are basically examples of what happened today. The first video show registration going on smoothly in Bo, in the center in Bo, where our own observer decided to capture that. There were 2 centers, about 5 of the videos what we get from Bo, all the 5 different registration centers, voter registration centers, where they had no problems. They not get problem with registration, no complaints. In one of the centers in Bo, from our own observer, when people came who never had NIN, then just wait, then take them in, and smoothly, more people came and they were going. So in Freetown, as we see, in various centers in Freetown and other parts of the North and Northwest, you see the challenges that people went through. Some centers, the computers were not working, one computer, other people can come for register, they say they're not in a NCRA database and put them aside. From our own investigation, we don't come to find out, say more people turned up into registration centers in Freetown, in areas of Putloko and areas of the North were open today than they did in areas of the South or SLPP strongholds, if you like. So more people away come on now the APC strongholds or areas where people believe there are more APC supporters or other opposition supporters were unable to register. Even though they wanted to register, they stayed all day to register. They never register. In places where the SLPP believe they have more supporters, people had easy way to register, and less people even turn up for register. So you find out, you see the difference between the two. So the question is what caused these 2 things? One, the National Electoral Commission, what they call Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone, decide for add burden into the registration process by introducing what they call the NCRA, the National Civil Registration Authority, and the use of the national identification number. Basically, they not try for create or follow the electoral register where they get and decide for use the NACRA register, the civil register, that they use today for create an electoral register. That's now one problem. The second problem is there were insufficient equipments for registration. These are the first time in the history of electoral history of Sierra Leone where people turned up to register. They are unable to register not because people are not come, now because people they not get the machine, the equipment for register.
They're ill prepared, yeah.
Yeah, the equipment and all this. But before I can answer that question, I want to tell people and say not to say money not be there. In the last election, 2018, NEC or Electoral Commission had up to at least 8,000 computers for registration. Biometric registration will be started in 2012. I'll be one of the international delegates that went to Belgium when the Electoral Commission, National Electoral Commission at the time, contract Zetis, when one of the leading security printing company, now Belgium, for create a biometric data for Sierra Leone, biometric voters register for Sierra Leone. It was 2012. Come to 2018. So by now, we don't forget problem with registration. And that was UNDP. We are flown to Belgium. I was one of the delegates to observe the creation of the biometric data and the company where then give the contract at the time now Zetis. This was a European company, one of the best European companies. Like they print voter registration for Congo, for Ivory Coast, many countries in Africa, but not more than that only. This is a company that produces securitized documentation for the Belgian government and some of the European government. Then they produce visa stickers, then they produce Belgian national ID, then they produce, and when it said that we say visa sticker for Belgium, you're talking about Schengen visa.
Yeah.
So any company will print visa so basically the company will print money safe.
Oh yes, of course.
And then be hired for print the voter ID cards of 2012. I was part of the delegation that went to Europe for observe not just the voter register, but at the time for also observe the facilities of the company. We were taken to Zetis headquarters in Brussels, which I will see even when they print their national ID card, Belgian national ID card, Belgian passports. And Belgium, now one of the countries in the world will get the highest, the most advanced securitized identification document, including passports and national IDs and visa stickers. And this company that was contracted in 2012 for the printing of Sierra Leone ID card and the creation of voter registration database was a European company, okay, chosen in association with international best standards. They hired them for do that. me not only be part of the delegation we go there. In fact, the current internal affairs minister, Pandanoa, was also the representative of the SLPP in that delegation that went to Brussels. The other person, Claude Commander of the APC, I think we represent, I don't know whether he's still in parliament, but he was representing APC in Waterloo as part of that delegation.
Yes.
We're good. So these were people that I remember, including civil society other people. When we go to Belgium in the meeting, I volunteered for test the system because I was the most difficult person would then consider difficult in the time because I was the part of the AP. No. I was the leading critic of the marriage. In fact, the leading critic of voter registration.
Yes.
In fact, when my name was mentioned as part of the delegation, some people were very uncomfortable and tried very hard for stop me for go.
Yes.
At the time. My travel to, in fact, I mean, the last person we receiving passport visa approved because the other people in the delegation never wanted me to be present. And I mean, the last person is the way the UN give, because it was a UN funded thing. I was the last person in the delegation that received his ticket for fly. On the very day they wanted me out of the delegation.
Yeah.
My inclusion was insisted upon by the United Nations at the time. But why I say this? Now for telling about how we struggled for transparent elections in 2012. Okay? The APC people that listen to me now, including their parliamentary leader, they know. In fact, the board chairman currently of the NCRA, we recently approved by Parliament, Sorry Fofana, we write on his paper, say them for charge me for treason because of the work on African Express, published in his newspaper that I had been removed from the delegation. Let me even go, what can I obviously Padibo, your newspaper don't lie. Look, because they were all sure. He even quote diplomatic sources for the paper that I will tell you. But when we went to Belgium, I insisted in the meeting that they have to demonstrate, may we see if there was no double registration. Because the concern was some people had registered twice. So them open the database in Belgium, this European company, and type my name, then show me my registration was shown as an example of the standard nature of the system that was used in 2012. So basically, me would have been considered the doubting Thomas in the process that has questioned the legitimacy of the process and all of this while I was taken to Belgium to observe as an observer for CCS. The voter register was accurate, was precise, was digitized, the biometric, there was no problem with it. We verified all, we satisfied. We came back. If you go check them, if you check them on newspaper report, then use me as an example, say that me say made and check. So I've been getting voters, the registration slip with me. I pull up the Belgium, them show me name and my face na the screen. And Baba Kande of I think PLP and all these other people were there as representatives. I think we were 21. In fact, the entire George Temple was part of that delegation. So these are the examples for talk about how we struggle for transparent elections under the APC in 2012. And I was a very vehement critic of the APC. So fast forward to 10 years later, you might say, we cannot have, for even made a register people and a problem now, talk less of a biometric system. But this is not because there is no money. I get you a letter. So NEC open a bid for then change now from member, and in 2012 we'll get this European standard, one of the best security printing firms. We moved to a situation where a bidding was opened up by NEC for people and for bid for biometric, for provide this biometric registration process. And the companies that we bid, they include Marcy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 companies that then qualify for bid, okay? That then bid. So what are the bidding thing? These people then bid for the contract for the design, supply, installation, configuration, support, and maintenance of biometric voter identification update software, fingerprinting scanner, laptop computers, software packages, and ICT accessories. And the bid was NEC, DMVR ICBG 2022-0063. Now the bid, now the project number, Dandy. And again, the contract was supposed to provide the same service, even more service, maybe standard service, fingerprinting now, scanner now, the equipment for make we get standard voter registration system, which means it would be double or 3 times more than what we had in 2012. Given so, they opened the bid. This will be open bidding where everybody for bid. Okay. The companies will bid at the resident owner now will bid for this document. You get a Bintex Incorporated Limited of 8 Dundas Street, Freetown. You get it might download and file. Now forgive me now, myself now. I got a follow allergy what I say forget glasses. I don't read book tell me. Good.
Never use glasses.
Yes, I got a friend glass. I don't try for no for that, but now, so you get back Conseil Limited, 25 Sheikah Stephen Street, Freetown. You get Futurecom Enterprises of 2 Leicester Road, Freetown. AA Enterprises, remember AA Enterprises is a furniture company back when I Fatima they pay for furniture. Then they are back. 13 House Street, Freetown. Orchid Ventures, Sierra Leone Limited, Pademba Road. Amsoft Technologies and Innovations, Sierra Leone, Pademba Road again. Then you get Gladiators Technology and General Services Limited, 17 Motor Road, Freetown. Axon Consortium, 1 Johnson Drive, Aberdeen. Steps Trading, Batter Street. TY Memory Masters Limited, 49 Sanders Street. Intelligent Card Production Systems Limited, they one from Accra. Then Infinity ICT and General Merchandise, 1 Old Railway Line. And La Rue Bassa Investment of 4 Green Avenue, I don't care. So here, straight up, you don't see, say, out of them company, and have one company only they are with an international company. We then plan for give the standard thing, securitized printing and all of that. So that then bid. We then bid for this contract. Would I get the contract? And if you don't go register, when I don't get machine there, everything there, when I see say there's computer and not sufficient, the old self. So before we come to this amount of computers, I want for sure, first the bidding process. Because, and this is, I read this here so that I'm going to ask Mr. Warren, say, and I give the background of where we started. So on the 29th of April, when are the most important thing, this around February, March, and then the bidding don't happen, everything. But on the 29th of April, NEC, the Electoral Commission, decide for right, the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone, award the contract, write a letter for inform the other bidders and say, no, with yourself. So in this letter, sent to one of the bidding companies, the dear sir, madam, notice of intent to award contract for the design, supply, installation, configuration, support, and maintenance of biometric voter identification and update software, fingerprint scanner, laptop computers, software packages, and ICT accessories. We hereby announce our intent to award the aforementioned contract to the undermentioned company for having been evaluated as the lowest, please underline, lowest responsive bidder in accordance with the criteria stated in the bidding document. Design, supply, installation, access. So, lot 2, name of firm, Infinity ICT General Merchandise. The proposed contract amount is $8,597,055, United States dollars. So basically, I award the contract for the supply. This still one I see so today when I not get what's the total amount we then give for this, for buy this computer. The first, there are 2 lots, 2 parts. The first part of this contract, when I just the computer, the accessory and the software I would read about, so is valued at $8.5 million, over $8.5 million. 9 cents spent so $8,597,055. We would like to thank you for your time and efforts in preparing responses to this bid. We invite you to contact the Electoral Commission. So basically, then give Infinity Global, then claim say Infinity, that then get the lowest bid. So I want to tell you now the lie back with and lie on this. Now I will go back. We don't investigate on the part of the African Express for see the people that way bid. I give you an example, say Infinity will say that and get the lowest bid, and lied in the lie. So Infinity that was awarded the contract value for 8 million, right? Alaji, is you with me also?
8,500,000. You see,
over $8.5 million.
the one they call low.
Yeah, we
The
then
one they call low.
yeah, we then called. They said they don't award that. Basically, that the letter I read was a letter written to one of the bidders for inform them that they have already awarded the contract to Infinity.
When are Infinity?
Yes. On the basis say Infinity give the lowest, then get the lowest bid. Now I want to tell you that the amount, because when you bid, there is bid opening for design supplies. So you get sideways. Every company is supposed to enter them bidding. Yeah. Now I go read each company, sample of some of the companies there. In fact, the lowest company we bid now $5,800,000. He decide now in propose say we able to do all this work here for supply everything for. The other company bid $9,091,091. The other one again, I'm not going to read the company's name, $9,664,000. The other one in bid 8.9 million. Well, Infinity say then go offer the service for 7.4 million. Okay. But the international company like Ghana where they left, then say they go able to offer this contract, they go able to offer the services needed for 7.1 million. So you see the difference. Infinity in their bidding document propose say if they give them the contract, they are willing to provide the service for $7.4 million. Mm-hmm. The international company in Ghana, which is the only international company, say then go provide the service for 7.1 million. Okay. Then the lowest bidder here is another Sierra Leonean company that says it can provide the said contract 5.8 million. Yes. Now, yes. Xfinity was given the contract, even though on the basis that Infinity mm-hmm. is the lowest bidder. In the first place, we don't come for find out say Infinity is not the lowest bidder.
Not the lowest, yes.
There was even an international company with the lowest bid lesser than Infinity. There is also a Sierra Leonean company with far less.
Yeah.
So the question then emerges: how did Infinity, on which basis? So the argument that Infinity was giving it on the criteria that now the lowest bidder is false. Now I also get documents them again, bank, because we've investigated this. We don't find out say the bid when Infinity was awarded the contract, the money that was paid to Infinity is almost 3 times less than the amount quoted in the supply document and the contract document signed. I get the bank transactions, so how much Infinity don't receive and how much $2 million and all of that. That is something I can also show in this process. But not to belabor the points, to tell you, first question is the rational basis. So not to say money not been there for the procurement.
Of course, money there.
One. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Second, the list of the company chosen was chosen on the basis according to on the basis that they had the lowest bid. That is also a lie. Mm-hmm. The third thing is that when we further investigate, we've come to find out that Infinity was awarded the contract even though it was not the lowest bidder. Then not only that, the money paid for the contract was, we can check now, how much money don't pay Infinity for to do this procurement was also almost 2 times less than the contract value that was quoted in the document. So who held on to the other 50 or more percent that was quoted in the document? So then a corruption first. There is massive corruption. I will tell everybody, including NEC officials who are listening, that they've stolen more than 50% of the money that they stated. This is different from now. Before we begin to evaluate whether Infinity was supposed to be given, who owns it, what's the interest of certain officials in it, whether they get her, and whether the supply, we then say they don't supply these 2,000 computers is commensurate. Even if we argue, say then give them the exact money, the 2,000 computers and the equipment they buy, is it worth the amount? These are the questions. So this brings me to a critical question, or the question that I want to ask as a civil society activist. How do you compare what are your view? What do you think is responsible before we cover? How do you see the technical difficulty? How do you understand the technical difficulty of today? To this question, why to open up this whole situation?
What you don't explain, so what you don't explain, because of course you discuss this with me before we come on air, but you say don't want to give me the document until we don't talk about that because I want to see detail on the document and there are certain things that we argue for access. No left behind the force. What you don't explain now, so Channel, it clearly shows this kind of neck, no go want make the SNDP, Marabio, come on power. That's the first thing. Which is why what I want to talk about, now the fact say, when they get the launching of the registration, when they get the launching, Channel, what happened? NEC, when an independent institution and government officials, they open dance floor. They open a celebration. I not ever see that one day. I mean, whole life working with independent institution them, working with independent organization them, who say they can, I know one day see that one day. And we see opposition, key figures like Sherry Coco and others being part of that dance, part of that celebration. We NEC and SFP government officials them really celebrate. For me, it take me aback, it take me down, and it confirmed to me say, yes, there is state capture. And China, what in this show again are the facts say people they say, oh, evidence not there. This evidence we get, if you take and give KKY, you take and give Cherry Coco, you take and give the opposition at parliament, they go tell you say, oh, China says for cancer alone. If you know this alone, we'll not go for investigate this thing. And this is how far the state has been captured. Wherein nobody not care, nobody not concerned. That is why una de Selenina when I come out today, una not able for register properly because they're not be pay attention to the registration. For them, it's a done deal. What in them in plan, what in they want for do now exactly this for like opposition stronghold members and the people in the opposition stronghold make them not get chance for register. Now that make them not pay the company properly. Now that make them not choose the right company. Now that make the organization will then select for make sure say they're able for do what they want for do it. Pay any kind of money they want for pay them. Then select do the procurement. And there are lots of other things. Procurement, you need to look at just the lowest bidder. No, you get other things the way you look at. But as surprised and as shocked, say they mention that later, say, based on the criteria of low bid. It's not just possible. You need to just look at the organization, say, in a possible way they make bold, they give them something for develop and build software. No, that company can forget something where they do with software. Can forget something where they do with this kind of experience before you give them based on all other criteria before you get the contract. But anyway, like I say, it's showing the depth of corruption, it's showing the level of deceit and the way the non-transparency, because also you get effective opposition. All of this not within the question, all of this not within the ask, but all of this not within the research. If you're not able for research, when I get possible, when I will consult, say, Chairman, you get anything on this because we see say this process the way they go is not transparent. As opposition, when I use that for hold the government accountable. But no, it's just quietness. The opposition don't care. They're not worried how they spend money for do their machine there, how they spend money for print their machine there. This is unheard of. We not ever hear about this. Now the whole world outside the opposition, they act against their own self, against their own self interest. Then they act against their own party interest, not just the country. It is scary, Chairman. I want to listen to you and go on with discussion.
Yeah.
Listen to people that we the ground. We don't have for call and ask.
Yeah. So at this point, I want to open the phone lines and see if we go take a couple of phone calls before we come into the discussion around Parliament and why the opposition fail for scrutiny. Because when I look at the question of procurement, you cannot have. I agree with you. When you have corruption at the level of procurement for voter materials or election-related materials, then that instantly questions the credibility of the decision for.
Yeah, go ahead and speak.
So now we go.
Yeah, me and Joseph, this Ireland. So the program really thank Mr. Channel for the massive education we educate to we the people, because Sierra Leone now we are home, because no place like home. But the way things they go, especially this civil registration way it go on, and the way it will explain how the NEC and the government, how they don't tie themselves together for make sure the registration not become successful. And this is very, very bad. This will make the country not to go before. Sierra Leone too small for this kind of attitude. And then the opposition way we expected them for the people, then this they against the people, they for their own self-interest. And this is not really good. It's really, really disheartening. And Salon is too small for corruption. The leaders, they are highly corrupted. This now in the effect in a Salon. Salon no will go before if we know they can truthful to we country as a nation and to we people. And I tell Brother Channel, thank you for the education once more. Some of we the youth really listen to in programs. So I really tell them thank you for this kind of message we share with we. So I tell them thank you.
What's not the name? Where you call from, please?
My name Joseph. I call from Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah, I in Republic of Ireland.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We could, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if we got a call.
At the level of procurement for voter materials.
Okay. I want to make you say something about what will you expect the opposition to do under this kind of situation where the idea of procurement, SSF, the Electoral Commission, because this is news. Most people, they talk about 2,000 computers. What they do not know is the amount of money spent.
Yeah.
Because the amount of money, all of this will not even be secret. Because what they talk about right now, if they even assess why do we have only 2,000 computers, and who procured the computers, where they are procured from, what kind of technology, because that we've been in 2012, these are all questions we raised.
Yeah.
Every bit of it, to the point that we then even can we go Belgium for a week to inspect the voter register.
That now government will have for conduct free and fair elections.
Yes, but there are also the responsibility. The APC, for example, get the required numbers in Parliament for raise these issues and make them a public conversation.
I think I don't see them before. When you present this kind of evidence to the, based on evidence, based on all that you don't see, we present this kind of evidence to the opposition at Parliament. Then we'll tell you say chair on head for the Parliament. They talk to you. Otherwise, it's not valid. This is not the excuse where they need to give over the years. Say, oh, we not get evidence. Oh, we not get this. But waiting and not know that other people, like the international community, the international arena, and ordinary people can get this evidence because they know say it's factual. Look what you don't give me. Don't give me the contract number. We're not going for deny. Because we wait for NEC and can't say we say no, not to the contract number, not to the bidding process number, not to the letter, not that letter we talk about, so not to the issuer. But they will never come forward for deny all of these allegations. And yet, what is scary now, that's what I say. The opposition, they can never ask questions. It's scary. Children, very, very scary. For me, you now get the capacity for do all of this research as opposition, but you get people who are ready for provide them information they are to you. Yet, you ask for evidence. You're compromised. You're compromised. So you're not there anymore for the people of interest. You did it for your own, as an opposition, you did it for your own personal interest. So for me, I think say we for take them beyond this and continue for educate the people. Like this particular report we get, so you need for publisher maybe tomorrow. Let the people of Sierra Leone see them and begin for acts, not just the government now. The opposition, what are you doing? Oh, una one for all we una throw it under mother in boss so that with democracy go well. Don't just limit them to just the opposition now. Sorry, the government now. even the opposition therefore be held accountable in this case. So if they're not they do their job, they do their duties, we get for begin hold them accountable. That is exactly what I did in that audio. I make sure say I outline waiting the opposition for do in a democracy. When you fail for do that, they not call yourself opposition anymore. Because the word opposition, not for oppose. Now that is simply say.
So
whatever we next they do, if we don't understand whose kind of software they use, who side they develop them, what in that software they capable of doing, how, because when they register people them, if the software accept them, say okay, when you in a particular area, you get for allow double voting, the software is going to take that. If not so they build them, the software is going to take that. Who that them bring come for ensure say as an opposition, who not get independent people them for verify that process. They say when they register people in Southeast, they know we get double registration based on that one day. How they don't verify that one day? How the opposition don't question all of this process? It's just deafening silence, and I think it's scary.
Okay, make I ask you this question. You knowing the opposition and having observed opposition politics, including the reference to argue 2012, which you remember, within you think responsible for the current state of the opposition? Because for me, I think there's no opposition party in Sierra Leone right now, especially when it comes to
they are compromised
to the APC. Where you have, you take the APC as an example, it has no standing executive from the ward level to the constituency level to the district region, right up to the national level. There's no functioning structure other than an eclectic 21-man committee that's appointed by a judge, which is a different conversation. So if you ask you what is responsible for the current state of the opposition, that it is unable to even scrutinize the preparation for elections. It cannot scrutinize even procurements relating to the conduct of the voting materials, because this technology is part of the voting materials. If opposition parties are not concerned about how voting materials are procured, how procurement regarding elections are done, then what kind of preparation are they making to ensure that they win an election? Are they really prepared to win an election? If they cannot police if they cannot guard and observe and ensure that the process of elections are conducted in a free and fair manner, including the inspecting the preparation for elections. So what kind of opposition is it? What's responsible for that kind of opposition? How do you define that opposition? And why is it
even the people born today, even the people them born today, where you see the evidence the way they out here since this government take over, where you see the evidence the way they out here that it no say, that picking they no say, the opposition are a complete sellout. They are not there representing the interests of the people anymore. In fact, that is why, in fact, they even allow this kind of judgment where government make for take over the opposition party. Now, part of the sellout. Now they come for know all of these things. Now they come for understand all of these things. Then here they show themselves to it, and they, then open up to it, say the judgment where Fisher make for destroy the APC, all of these 21-man committee where they set up each against themselves is all part of the opposition and Fisher they're making for just silence the opposition. Because up to today, the opposition not getting a flag there yet. Up to today, they're not getting convention yet. So this now a steady plan really go on of the state capture I talk about, because the opposition, once they compromise and sell out, you understand? Once they compromise and sell out, the other people, members are not getting active for the one. They tell the APC, say they go for grab now and then go for step up now. This not what you're not going for wait for. The people, the power is stronger than any one person in power. The people that go for grab up against people that we don't sell out. We not go for this. The picture clear. The picture is it's just so clear. And what I hear again now that the Abbas Bundu, Ibrahim Bundu, when at the head of the Potloko committee, they say held on to the accreditations them. Today for Potloko, people that win at the opposition party, they not get the accreditation they hit. Whether they don't get an in them, but they not get them by the time when they go for registration. By the time they go for monitor the process. So who that they would have for go monitor the process? So these guys are all complete sellouts against.
We have a caller.
Okay, make me take the call.
We have a caller.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, yes. Please say your name and where the call from before you make
Hello.
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Mina Victor Spain, Mina, well, I can say Mina one of the members na then and now forum, and Mina strong follower of Mr. Chernobyl. I don't follow him for a very long time. Say thank you, Chernobyl. You did do a wonderful job. You take upon yourself for help winners alone for expose some of the bad things we politicians and they do. How then they bend we law, how then they use we taxpayers' money. And I want to tell you say Boku Salomon appreciates that. Now, one great concern I get of late, we don't see say they mix with certain group of APC followers. We questionable. Why I say them questionable? They don't do so many things and we get question mark. This group of APC for member now Ibrahim with the America. I will name two things them. I not to lie at the life Panama, not just one for polling them. We don't do we wrong. Sometime last year or 2 years back, is here one with one woman, with the degrade a woman. He say na operatives of Madabio we turn out for be say he not been do due diligence. He come out and accuse the government wrongly. In way he notice say na wrong he do, he not even apologize.
Okay, make
And
I
the
just
other
answer.
second thing where Ibrahim they do way wrong, na a
May I
very, very divisive person.
Yeah, Victor.
Okay, hold on.
Victor.
Pause. Pause. Make I answer before you done.
Victor.
Yeah.
You want for pause? I think he want answer something. Just pause.
Yeah, I want answer. Pause for make answer quick. Then you will continue because I think so you raised a valid point. Mr. Spain, that you.
Yeah, Mr. Spain, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Spain, thank you very much for that question. I am not meeting with people. Okay.
Yeah.
What me know the whole meeting with people them.
Yeah.
Secret. I don't do that. And besides, me na I represent the African Express. That's one. Secondly, I'm a Sierra Leonean as well. But this is not what I want to say. My participation in Ibrahim. No, hold on. No, I want to answer that. Then you go. They continue now. I don't know what you say. I just want to talk about.
Okay. So my question now be integrity really, really matter. And if we when they follow you, they say this group of people, you share them content, you mix with them. When they begin the question, what's in the apple?
Okay, hold on, my answer.
Victor, now for make it quick, yeah, we get about 5 callers there online with it.
Hold on, make an answer. I want to answer that question.
They ask so many people they ask them then and now whether you don't join APC. Please explain.
No, hold on. I know apologize for participating in Ibrahim and Koita for use Ibrahim and Koita the platform for talk to Sierra Leoneans. And as far as I'm concerned, regardless of whatever mistake they make, I don't go to plenty platforms. Okay.
Okay.
I don't talk now with Yard. I don't talk now Sarah Gem. I don't talk now including Then and Now and plenty other platforms. But take note, say for the 20 years while I practice journalism in a salon, no radio station has ever denied me access to their channel, including for the 10 years while opposed by Kuruma. In fact, Mr. Warise just mentioned that I was on SLBC more than any other person. Between 2010 to 2012, I was the most regularly featured critic of the government, more than even government officials, virtually on every radio station, private radio and SLBC. Today, in the last 4 years, no radio station is willing to interview me, including today, right now. You can take phone call and ask AYV. In fact, SLBC interviewed me sometime last year. They refused for play the interview.
Oh dear.
Okay. No radio station, 98.1 only interviewed me once. And if I want to make an interview me, they try for help the chief minister. That'll be February 2021. The chief minister for the one feel say and get question for should be like say I not sabi for talk without the talk. In fact, people will listen to the audio, they were so angry at 98.1. We go read the comment.
So
They started to blast me.
that
No,
the cause
at the come, make I tell you why. At the come, now valid point. I know dismiss what you say. So in that case, as a journalist that produces content, I realize say why they write not only a certain segment of population that then get access to me writing because the government or the opposition politician then now we don't deal with the government, including APC politician then they try to prevent me access to the Sierra Leonean public. And part of why they know the agreement radio they interview me because they know they are more comfortable with me writing than me speaking because some of them know what my speech can do. You don't understand? So by April this year, by March, April, I noticed back say even the online platform, the way the APC people are control, they know they even interview me anymore. In fact, you need for interview then and now for tell you say now the only platform we don't allow me now for use.
You don't get a platform then and now ready for
No,
welcoming.
hold on, make I say. So for me, Ibrahim, the platform, Ibrahim, Quetta, Cashbox, and People Power, the platform. Now just like then and now to me, okay? Now just like then and hold on. Now just like then and now to me, where they give me platform for record me voice, they interview me, they record me voice about an opinion within the spread. You don't understand?
Thank you very much.
So now, Benny, I am not part of any group. I'm not a member. So for me, I see them. Okay, listen. I see them as Sierra Leoneans who are doing their own thing. And again, me, I know the malice any Sierra Leonean because of their political association. Okay. Now
Okay,
they malice me.
we get few other callers them if una want.
Now they don't malice. Now Sierra Leoneans don't malice. No, I need to clarify. Now Sierra Leoneans.
No worries, Mr. Spain. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
I don't know if I don't answer that question. Lee.
Yeah, you don't answer in his.
You don't answer very well.
Yes, I think you answer to his satisfaction.
Platform you only use for passive message.
Yeah. Anybody give me platform. If you like government radio yourself, I'm ready for talk to them for talk to Salon people.
Okay, let's get to the next caller. Hold the line, please. Mr. Spain, thank you very much. Bye bye. All right, let's get to the. Una hold on quick. Let me see. We had about 5 callers while we've been to do this. Let me see if I can bring them come back.
Oh, yeah, we need for take that time there for address it because I know a question that emerges.
Oh, yeah, it's a critical question. Where you want this?
Yeah.
Yep. Bear with me, please.
Yeah, because I want to present also. I mentioned in the process of this conversation the payment.
Hello, caller.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, you are live. I sure say you want to participate on the show. Your name and who say you call from, and then you can go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Ibrahim Ba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, my own question I just seen.
Who say you call from, Mr. Ba?
I call from Sweden.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, just simple question again. This thing will happen in Sierra Leone. So since we independent during the 60s, I want to just ask. Always a problem in Sierra Leone. This if you want to like say like the biological problem will get in Sierra Leone. The IQ very low. You understand? I want just like the average IQ in Sierra Leone. What's the average IQ in Sierra Leone? Because if you see the president, the ministers, they nobody know the way he think for Sierra Leone. This might be like a biological problem. The IQ very low. Integrity not in Sierra Leone. So that question that I want to ask is, what are the IQ average in Sierra Leone? Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Simple.
Thank you. All right, let's see whether we get another one. Let's see whether we can take down it quickly.
Let's get more calls.
Yep. Okay, this person called about 3 times. I said I'll call them back, but they seem not to be picking up. Maybe they go call again so you can continue.
Okay. I don't know if Mr. Warise is there. Do we have another call?
4646. No, that's it for now.
Okay. Yeah. You've been to talk about the disabling of the opposition, if I remember very well, before we read the calls, and why you think say the opposition not find an interest in looking at these questions where really they affect the voters. And because if you go back in June, you'd find out say there was an effort to pass a public elections bill, which will have done to voters the same thing that is now happening. So you're able to tie up the elections bill and what we're experiencing today and the role of the opposition, what does this say about the opposition, basically, in Parliament?
Channel, before I answer that question, I come to the caller where we ask about the issue of IQ.
Okay.
It talk, for me, I don't know, because I get maybe because I get critical thinking skills, maybe I make a think critical of in statement.
Yeah.
You say, what's in at the IQ level, Nasiradio? How people they think, Nasiradio? What's in at them thinking, pattern? Because if we never think, say, with all what happen, so it's risky for we all, you understand, including the one that we mix Panam, it's very, very serious. Usai, integrity no matter anymore. People don't worry about integrity. The president they don't catch them, if they fake receipts them, if they travel, if they lie, if they talk in the way not for do. So this caller
Hello, caller.
question about integrity.
Hello, caller. Yeah, good afternoon. You want to make contribution to the program?
Yeah, of course.
Your name and who side you call from, please, and the floor is all yours.
Okay, Nina Mildred Hansel. Nina Mildred Hansel, I call from Italy.
You call from where?
I'm calling from Italy.
Oh, Italy. Okay, welcome to the platform. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
It's my first time. I've been trying to call. Sometimes, I can want to contribute on a program, but, rather unfortunate.
Well, you got us today. Thank you.
Yeah, I always follow. I listen to all the platforms, I have my favorites, and one thing I want to say is, when you fight something, when you fight for something, you understand? When you fight for a just cause, not to everybody get for like that. And when you fight a just cause, you get forget at the back of your head say, people they're not there for like you understand, for which you fight for.
Yeah.
But the only advice is no relent, one day somebody is going to recognize you, somebody is going to hail you, somebody therefore know the effort we put, you understand?
Yeah.
And somebody therefore know say this person is a true Sierra Leonean, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say, we brought a children, it is fight. Now, Sierra Leoneans, some of them, they are defiant, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Some people, when they benefit from the system, they can never criticize, you understand? Because it's a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So, when are the people that will not the benefit, of course, we voices them will get for be hard, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
But what can we talk about this? On our program, it's so interesting. It gets a level, you understand?
Yeah.
Congratulations to Una for that. It gets a level because we're they listen and we're children in common,
Yeah.
It is so educates some of we where they out here.
Yeah.
This is what people don't know. It give you, a lot of education. It makes, open your minds and know a lot of things where they happen in the country where we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know about. And he's credible. Anybody who will talk say that man not credible, then, I don't think say that person is get a reason faculty, you understand? I don't think say it's sober-minded, you understand?
Yeah.
Because he comes, he does his job as a journalist, and he comes with proofs. And people go against it again. You understand? This is why I don't really understand people. You see that country there, now we all get us. Nobody knows for people. You understand?
Yeah.
Some of we because of we status, you know, and for your security reasons, best known to me, you understand?
Yeah.
Now make we don't go down now Sierra Leone for them we vote. But get one also, then get the woman and the, you know, I mean, what is it? Send a signal we for threatening we, for put we in a position where we know we will say no, we know we say this. But I mean, there is time for every purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a beginning, there's an ending. In everything. In everything. Me na a colleague of Cherno. Cherno no know me. I worked for the SLBS, okay? Now then, na the SLBC. But I mean, we want to go through. You see what in the face for that country today? Now what in we don't face before? When they told lies, they told all sorts of things. We're not collaborators, we're not this, we're not that. I was quiet all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I decided for, you know, talking 2 weeks ago, because I said, enough is enough. Let them pay me. And when I talk with folks. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I talk with folks. All waiting children they talk to. You understand? It's the fact. Not the truth. Nothing but the truth. But I mean, then why are so way they don't sell out when they make for them some of we, you know, with the cry now so you understand?
Mm-hmm.
They will pay for that one day. They will pay for that. Because it's not done. If we are opposition then we they out here, we do we only to beat, you understand? But we expect much from una people then. People they trust una, people they rely on una. Their lives then on una hand at this present moment. If una decide for una own selfish means, you know, for una own selfish interest, una decide for just do so. We only contribute. You see, like when we listen to what's his name, they come this no that this time to people they for calls.
Mm-hmm.
When we listen to Umar Fofana, some of us have contributions. We call on the BBC. We call on the BBC. We say, look, I mean, we identify. We say, look, this guy. I mean, the wife is so and so. Now conflict of interest. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you go on the ground? Mm-hmm. Why can't you book information? Why can't you, you know what I mean? Some people do them differently. Just like this, they're blinding and others. When they go now, it is holla away and they talk to them. It is holla, they say, no, we're not fetch for me, I'm not fetch for me. We just what they're blinding. When they threaten them, when they do all kinds of evil things with them, we stand for them. But no, when they talk, they say, I mean, no, not you fetch for me, I'm not fetch for me, we are watching them, you understand? So thank you very much. I will just say this bit because other people will go out for talk on the line. And give una, you know, a big thank you for giving me this opportunity today. Okay? Sharon, and last one is don't relent. Don't relent. You are credible. You are credible. Not to say past people, they all got support you, Sharon. So one day, you want it. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have any caller again?
Yes, we do have one more. If you can hold the line, please. Let me see whether I will forget this caller. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, caller, your name and where you calling from, please.
Hello. Good evening, Mina Ed Kamara. I call from the United Kingdom.
Yeah, fire away, please. The platform is yours.
Okay. And it gets me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So, first of all, my brother, I use yourself a while for Charlie Tenki and a while for tell Cherno and Mr. Mohammed. Big thank you for telling all thank you. Lord God bless you. Yeah, me, I want to say something and back them up with a small question. I want to follow Mr. Cherno and Mr. Mohammed. Let us see how best they will help the people of Sierra Leone, especially Mr. Cherno, the way he don't stand for the people of Sierra Leone. We all know since the day this registration starts. But the songs that we get, especially in the northern parts, especially Misebusa come out when the Bambali South area where I come out, the messages they were be get the honestly speaking, such a good messages them. One the village Usani come out now, one of the biggest village in the area where they start today. The village alone, we did it about 5,000 that village day. And the people that would able to register today now 80. Only 80. In the first place, they come around, they're supposed to start, they say about around 6, 7 o'clock or so. They don't count 11 o'clock. 4:30, now they stop. So anybody will come, they tell us, say, they stand outside. If you don't get an acra or something, they need to register that person there. So the people then, that's so the people that they have been the tires of them go back like them, farm they do. So, and actually, which we expect now the opposition, when the members of parliament, especially the 21-man committee, for come up with a strong press release for all the ways they will go and read all the messages they will go and read the first thing. But that I not see it happen. So what is Mr. Chernobyl? Because right now the Sierra Leone people them we have brought to you the information we give you. We happen to you, we believe you. So what do you feel to say? Actually, the Sierra Leone people and therefore do in this case because the people they're ready for vote for register, but we have for start 7 o'clock, they not come till 11 o'clock, 4:30. They say the machine no good, the machine one. A village will pass about almost 1,000. Now only 80 they will register, and that village they all about 6 villages them. Now that village they get for waka, get for count bike, for can vote. Some then try for vote.
Okay.
Vote. So what Mr. Cherno and Mr. Mohammed, what do they think say that the best thing way people then for do in absence of the opposition leader? Thank you very much. Lord God bless you now.
Okay, and just a quick one. Yeah, caller, many thanks. Cherno or we say, can we take 1 or 2 more calls? We got about 6 where they wait, and 2 are very persistent.
We can take all 6 if I
Okay.
say agree.
All right. Okay.
If we just answer to 1 or 2 questions, they will take 2.
Yeah, so let me take 1. They want to answer. I don't know whether this one self will be a question. So if you want to hold the line, please. Hold the line, please.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Your call was persistent, sir, and I sure say you want to make contribution. So you name and also you the call from, and the floor is all yours.
Yes, I've been named Sheku Kalon. I'm born and raised in Kenema.
Okay.
They call from the United States.
Welcome to the platform, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I already tell you plenty thank you for the sensitization, the awareness, so that they bring come to people every day in the dark. Because, yes, when they say, what time we grab, you get for fencing for it, you get for fence side for leave, you get for fence side for they get you onto much. But there's a difference between the one we defend team for it and the one we know who side for get team for it. So knowing now a basic core of humanity, of survival. The word knowing who side it's guy for go now in education. One in education, I want to focus sit on as class, let teacher tell you say 1 + 1 are 2. 1 + 1 are 2. The man no one day go school self know that one day. Because if they do in your mathematics in a different way. Where if you put 1 stone, put 2 another stone, they bring it together in no saying at 2. In whatever language. Keep it saying Yalunkai, keep it saying Arab, you know, we just know say no more the word na 2 by English. or you're not going to say you know the concept of man. You know? So the problem we'll get now at Salon, one man call and ask one very, very important question. We talk about the IQ. I know say sometimes waiting in the try for talk, you know, able to articulate them. I believe so waiting in the try for talk now. Education. Waiting we know, but we self. Waiting we know say not the right thing for we self. Now the difference from the man we no say he get food, he want food for it, and the man we know who's like for go find the food for it. Information is very, very powerful. Information and survival. Now we don't know for say information is better pass for go sit down, work and eat. Because if you get information, you are informed. You could not say yes, I will go for go get food for it too, but that would differ cause motoka go bang me. Yeah. Because you don't know for say now roadway motoka frequent. So that build bridge where we able pass over the motoka. So that like you able go find food for it every now and then. So yes, you can go for go find food for it. You cross one time motoka bang you. You can be to say you're lucky, you cross, you go get food for it, you can't, you know, even be able to make them back. Because you are not educated. You don't get information for no say yes, this is dangerous, this motorcar is dangerous. Now in which I try for drivers, now we fundamental the core problem. Now Africa with a specificity to Sierra Leone. That color information in question very, very pivotal to me. Now down the 90 got me on call. I did listen to what they say most of the time, but wait till Mr. Cherno and Mr. Warise and other, you know, people and way they educate Sierra Leoneans and not the right thing now that they do. Because if that man no say this government will don't cancel, they not for do that thing. That line they not for do I under. Now you them for can't draw the line. You don't know. He or she is ill informed. So I just want to tell una say, una continue for do what una they do. What una they do so, I like bills, we get glass all over, we get diamond all over, not just temporal thing. When you educate people, then they remain educated, then serve the pastor education they to them, picking them, then picking the pastor education they to the other, picking them. And it goes on and on and on. So after you don't die, your legacy still live on. The people that when are pioneers and where their name will ever remain in the history of mankind. Now people that we disseminate education, we share understanding, we share information to other people. That we make other people in. Wow. So what when they are before go, or when they want to do water, one only for travel 4,000 miles for go get water.
Yeah, Mr. Kalon.
That's right. So when I don't know my own contribution, I want to tell you thank you, una keep on for educate the people in a salon. Because now the only platform now the only thing now in the way we lack thorough education about we self. Don't talk about 1 + 1 or 2 or talk plenty English because we leaders all we don't pass the salon. Majority of them then get degree them from the head to the foot. So man qualify, pass qualify. So man know it in the letter of the law. So man know how to articulate himself. If he talk English now, they go water they run a pump. But not to that the people put it eat. Yeah. But to that day, the poor man within a village want you education again nothing for do with the poor man in a village. If you're not able make the poor man himself become educated. So what you need to show? You know, when I go fit to say na small thing. No, when I do everything for educate the people, whether you na SLPP, whether you na APC. What you need to do so? They bring education come to the people them, we for make them know themselves, know what thing that they own value, and know their rights. So I want to tell you thank you. That's my own contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you very
think so
much.
we'll come to what you say, forget some reactions. Um, yeah, and after that, we will talk about, I want to go into the finances regarding payment. So regarding the payments, I don't talk about just not the award of the contract and the contract value, and also I don't frame the documents. They actually look for the pull up the documents regarding payment. I will read some transactions as well. But I agree with you. The African Express will publish an article regarding this specific procurement and all of that for give people the tangible evidence and the hand where they need. But you get any reactions to, you're going to talk about the IQ, the relationship with Parliament,
Yes,
procurement, and the failure of the opposition to act.
yes, Chairman. And I think say the last caller, it harp on that one is seriously. We in time down to education because people that must get very low IQ for letting in a country. We all of them see they happen. Nobody know one for talk about them. Sometimes they not just because they're free for talk about them. Sometimes they deliberate say, no, not talk about this thing because we'll talk about this thing. We partner with world tomorrow. Now no IQ that one day because this is on a destruction path. This is a destruction path. Channel, you be mention something just about civil society radio on this side, civil society on that side. I remember we running a Sierra Leone side. Civil society most times with the whole government accountable. Channel, where you go now with Facebook, then and you go now with a website, then and you go now with office, then and you defend press release when against government. Where the whole government accountable. I remember the issue of the Ebola funds, the Ebola money, where them begin talk about them, where Parliament engage them people and we do press release them, we go on radio, we ask the government, we ask questions. Well, it's not happening anymore. It happen only now. Place society people then get low IQ because when you get low IQ, what thing happen? Selfishness is set in. The opposition not care how that man they eat, how that man not eat. We wake in the morning as an opposition, what they do? They will send money to this social media group, send money to that social media group for let them project in your personal interest. You forget say the government they can thief the country money, the government they can siphon the people the money in your role when for all the government accountable. You don't forget about that. In the happen in society, we say people they get low IQ because if you get good IQ, if you get high IQ, you didn't Sierra Leone. If you no say this system where they happen so it wrong. This system are not for join them. This system not one way good for me. This system not one way good for me people. But no, we then join that kind of system there in that bandwagon. Trust me, now people them with low IQ from president, turn down to including the opposition, we don't compromise. It simply means that man may talk say people get very very low IQ within the society. Otherwise, if I think I say no, hold on, this money within the Guinea, so it's too good to be true. This not help, will help you, will help Sierra Leone. So like I tell you, that lady talk about blessing you. That lady talk about keeping up the fight, continue the fight. Channel, whether person tell you or person not tell you, trust me, the fact that you're not hero in Sierra Leone. The fact that the government of Madabio, they don't want for see you in Sierra Leone. They don't want for hear you. Boy, you see blacker. Christmas, what's we mad? They're all because you talk against president. These are people that will not get better IQ. Now they nobody do that. So that man is statement we make today. Trust me, I'm going to take him a long way with me. I'm going to take him a long way in this discussion. So let's stop so far with them question and answer. I think so now them basic thing and the way people they ask. And the ladies in Italy talk about justice. When you effect on the cause of justice, especially when you start for that cause of justice, when you start for a just cause, trust me, not to all man they bear you. Don't forget the Christ, the Muhammad, those prophets, when they start them causes them. Now after when they don't die, now people understand say, oh, now this thing ain't Christ been the faithful. Oh, now this thing ain't Christ. Because they stone and enter and they. The kings them, the powers that be, the elites them, enter and they. They set people against them for dread them at them villages because they say then they go educate the people them. Then they go teach the people them about still where the people are not savvy, we go make them lose their powers them. Now, I think say the last caller, Mr. Kalon, talk about. Education. So when you dip and course there, not to just bring out the material, bring out the evidence there. We get for engage in a sustained campaign. And this time, we get for include the opposition in the campaign. We get for hold themselves accountable. Because for me, what I don't outline, now like, waiting them for do now, they don't see this problem. Waiting them for do as opposition. One, engage NEC. If they're not real opposition, engage NEC, say, we're not going to stop this NCRA process as part of this because we don't ever put on a no law, illegal. Engage with the international community. They are not going to give more money because even if you take 100 days today, 90 days or 100 days, people get for register. The last man for register because now in right for register for vote in 2023. Engage with international partners them. Engage with NEC. Make sure so you engage with the different communities then. We are not discouraged. We are ready for come out because this registration again for continue until the last man register. Come out and tell the people that now that for me, I expect the opposition for they do now. We then kind information you don't present to them. So because the corruption, I don't think say what you point out them have to talk about how they're not going to talk about them. But at least begin for engage NEC. Tell them say we'll never make law, say NCRA for be part of this process. If they mean genuine to we say yes, that law they don't put anything with the NIND. If they're genuine, therefore go meet the international community now. Say it look like say this process is going to be a long drawn process. Outside people therefore need for register, especially in the opposition stronghold. The machine that went in the southeast, so far we're not hearing no complaint. I'm not hearing from this morning, I'm not hearing none of that. Say, oh, na both central now, will they get problem? No, we're not hearing none of that. So for me, I think say it can be a sustained campaign even against the opposition, people already call themselves opposition now. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that you sum them up that way. I just want to add to the evidence for the education of we viewers and people where they pay attention to this, and also by extension, maybe opposition politicians where they listen. I want to underline, based on the evidence in front of me, that we not get insufficient equipment for carry out voter registration because we not get the money for carry out that. That this was budgeted. I don't read the contract we didn't get to. In fact, when we investigate Infinity, we know who owns Infinity anyway. But for that, I'm going to read an article now. But I want to talk say when they give Infinity the contract for do this procurement and handle, Infinity in turn subcontract another company where they call Laxton, Laxton. LAXTON. It's an English company also in charge of. But that's all I got for it. But I want for saying that we read that letter in April when the contract was awarded. In June, on the 14th of June, that particular company with a subcontract issue out an invoice for the payment of 10%. So which means that company we don't talk saying 8 million, neither they say the contract they for. Then get a contract for the supply. The company now way Infinity would serve. Then in fact, not $2.2 million. Nine then take the contract for. So the principal company when Infinity ICT and general merchandise now free to win the Electoral Commission contract for the supply, for the design, supply, installation, configuration, support, and maintenance of biometric voter identification and update software, fingerprint scanner, laptop computers, software packages, and ICT accessories. We say the contract was given for $8.5 million. Here in a document in front of me that I'm looking at, there's an invoice in which the subcontracted company, supposedly they were getting a subcontract other person. He said, then for the same contract we talk about that this company has got it for $8.something million. The contract price here that was paid to the subcontractor is $2,247,100. And on the 14th of June 2022, the National Electoral Commission received an invoice from Lexington, this is a subcontractor now, where they are the 14th June. You say it is here. Basically the company request for 10% advance payment for the design, supply, installation, configuration, support, maintenance of biometric, blah, blah, blah. I don't explain here. So the procurement number, as I read, I understand NEC, DMVR, ICB, G 2022-0063 lot 1. Contract price, $2,247,100. And now the company asks for 10%. The 10% we then pay the company now $224,710. This was in the invoice sent to NEC by the subcontractor through Infinity, where they give the company. And here you can see the signature of the finance officer and the stamp from the supposed Lexington. So this was issued on the 14th. On the saloon, country, interesting. So on the 16th of June, then the National Electoral Commission write on the letterhead, National Electoral Commission or Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone. They write to the governor of the Bank of Sierra Leone. Then they write a letter dated 15th June 2022. The bank receiver on the 16th of June. Okay, the letter is dated 15th June. Then they write the 14th. Then say when they receive the invoice, they write transfer from National Electoral Commission current account to Infinity Information Communication Technology and General Merchandise Limited account. They instruct the bank governor with letter. Please transfer the sum of $213,963 United States dollars. Basically $213,963 United States dollars and debit NEC NEC current account number 01120084440 with the Leone's equivalent of the following. The payment is made to the undermentioned bank detail. And so make the bank governor pull from the young account at the central bank and pay to Infinity the account. The account name, Infinity Information Communication Technology and General Merchandise Sierra Leone Limited, where they pay at the US dollar account. The bank account of Xfinity is lodged. This particular bank account is at the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, Sheikha Stephen Street. The account number is 003-001-100-165-412-164. The purpose of this payment, now 10% advance payment for the design, supply, configuration, support, and maintenance of biometric voter identification and update software, fingerprint scanner, laptops, computer software, packages, and ICT accessories for 2023 general elections, Lot 1. And this one is signed by William Ado Davis, the Executive Secretary of the National Electoral Commission, and is countersigned by Agnes Tarawali, the Director of Finance. So this was 10% payment. Meanwhile, the letter awarding this contract was issued on the 29th of April, 2021 for the contract value of $8,595,055. So there's a case here for both Parliament
and the ACC.
And now member ACC.
If you don't get money for talk about
service, Accountant General's Department. So now now with all this money what we don't spend, they don't pay. They don't get problem for transfer the money. If I were to receive the invoice today, the next day they don't transfer the money.
Yes.
The bank receiver, the bank says, oh yeah, I take the money. And not only that, I also trace this to see. Let me also read. On a patient, because sometimes. So that was on May. In 29 July 2022. This now waiting now about 1 month ago, right? Today now 20 almost.
Today 3rd
of okay. Now about 1 month ago.
Yes.
1 month ago, as part of the daily transactions where they will save, the government also pay into that Sierra Leone Commercial Bank account. The bank transfer again.
Yeah.
$409,294.58
Okay.
to Infinity, Information Communication Technology and General Merchandise. Remember, they don't pay under June, July again, then pay. And then make another transfer of funds in respect of 20% additional payment for the design, supply, configuration, support, and maintenance of biometric voter identification software, fingerprint scanner,
Yeah.
Laptop computers, software packages, and ICT technology. So in essence, today, some of the complaints where people say the scanner, they know the work. We get a video from somewhere in Bombali, I think that Kamakwe area,
Yeah.
where one of our observers sent a video where the camera is not working. They're not registered. They say they don't postpone it for tomorrow. So if they talk saying that 2 weeks rotational registration, already there's 1 day lost. Why?
Yeah.
Because of the technology is not functioning.
Yeah.
Computers are not functioning. They are not only inadequate. Charger, they not function. And this charger again, they say the charger, charge this and that. Somebody called me from McKinney, say one of the centers will begin working almost 1 after 3 hours, I go off because there are no chargers. Now, let me also read another transactional letter of order payment. We perhaps I still cannot wrap my head around this. Yeah. Our country. Now, patient with me.
Oh yeah, Channel, this is very important. This now, in fact, this is a serious opposition. This is now breaking news.
So, so here again.
Yep.
Here again is this another one. This is different. Okay, this now you get the Fidelity Solar Technology. Fidelity Solar Technology of Wilkinson Road. Now this company did. So then why a bill? There's an invoice here, bill to the National Electoral Commission, and placed in the attention to the attention of the Executive Secretary, Mr. William Ado Davis, with invoice number, you see the FEL NEC 001, purchase order or sales order number, NEC DMVR ICB G2. They know what this. Why I read this? Because they know I'm reading directly from their records.
Oh yes, of course.
The invoice date. This invoice was issued on May 31, 2022, and they were requesting that the payment, the due date for this payment was June 15, 2022, and the amount on this invoice is $385,725. What is this payment for? This payment again is 30% advance payment for the supply and delivery of portable, rechargeable, solar-powered generator and accessories. And the total amount for this now $1,285,750. So for this, basically, a company is hired to supply a portable generator and rechargeable solar powered generator and accessories. So basically, we never even get problem with some of these technical things, but they have to tell us where is this generator and accessories in question. So supposedly, this generator will charge all these them solar charger they waiting for use for the laptop, and this was paid. The contract for this now $1,285,750, and here in this invoice, 30% of that they are saying is $385,725, which was paid, really. So this one in the bank details, the Fidelity Solar Technology Sierra Leone Limited. Their bank is at the Commerce and Mortgage Bank PLC, Freetown. Account number 00210-814-82017. This in fact was transferred to correspondent bank, Federal Reserve Bank, for the account, UBA, United Bank for Africa PLC, New York branch. So this, in fact, in the wire transfer this amount, kind of New York. This bank with the San Antonio, it at Rockefeller Plaza, 8th floor, New York 10020. So what am I trying to say? These people had taken money, millions of dollars out of the bank for the procurement of
Yeah, hello, caller.
accessories and all of this.
Yes. Joseph and hello.
Yes, your name and who say you call from, please. Yeah.
My name is Joseph. I call from Freetown.
Okay, Joseph, many thanks for calling. The floor is all yours.
Okay. I get some question for Mr. Ba. First of all, I go on for say I get a very strong respect of Mr. Ba, and I begin for admire Mr. Ba when I read the book the Ebola outbreak, multinational corporate gangsters and rogue politicians. That book was sort of an inspiration to me. So I've been for following. Yeah. But I want to ask Mr. Ba one question. If he answers me, then I will proceed with it to where I want to talk. Mr. Ba, what did you eat today?
Huh?
You repeat, please.
So what I eat today?
Yeah, what did you eat today?
I don't remember. I don't drink a lot of coffee, but I did eat very good food cooked at home. I get a very caring spouse and a family, so I'm well taken care of. I don't know what's the import of the question, really. But I know why you asked me this because I wake up early.
Specific, the name of the food.
Huh?
Yeah, the name of the food.
I don't remember, but I do. Why? Why is the question?
Well, I want to know the food we eat today for I want to ask because this is what many Sierra Leoneans need and how strong you are for doing what you do. Anyways, what I go on for say is that did you enjoy or do you love doing what you are doing?
Well, definitely somebody has to do this. I have to do what I'm doing.
Do you love doing it?
I have to love what I'm doing, but I do not like to talk about. I want to see changes in the country. I don't know whether that's the question.
Sometimes.
Hmm?
Aren't you scared? Didn't you feel scared sometimes? Going against the people that have all the money, all the powers.
Well, I just think that we cannot let fear take over what what I don't know. But fear is a natural thing. But what are we going to do? Do we have to leave the country in the way it is without doing something because of fear that something is going to happen? We just have to take a stand on against some of these things. But I understand it's a painful process. It's an isolating process. But there's no choice. I get to a point where sometimes I say, I just cannot live in an environment where things are going wrong and cannot say something or do something about it.
So a few months ago, the government of Sierra Leone described you to be a threat to national security. Do you see that as a success or as a threat to your own existence?
I don't know what that means. For me, I don't see the threat to national security is when you are looting money out of the country, when you are basically creating voting more worse than what we see today, where people turn up to register to vote. They cannot. And what I'm presenting here is basically money in the hands of that has been taken out of the banks, public money, to make it possible for people to easily register, and they cannot. What is more of a threat than that particular one? Now the basis of crisis that they have fed almost that's what we're looking at. People insisting that they have to exercise their democratic and constitutional right. And then we have people deliberately preventing them from doing that, not because they do not have the resources to do that. They are deliberately. If they allow people to just vote, what else can you not provide? So for me, I do not consider what the government is saying about my work. I believe in what I'm doing, and I believe in it because I have the evidence to show that what I'm doing is correct. So that's why I'm not bothered about those things. And I don't think about accolade or not. I'm thinking about what is right. What has to be done? What should be done?
Okay, well, for me, from the time you begin the do you investigative journalism you publish, I think you begin for doing way back before 2018 elections. Now, at that time, I was in South Korea. So at that time, I would say this guy is an SLPD guy. Could it be some kind of a politician? So until I come back salon, I can discover you continue the same work. At some point in time, some people say you used to be a very close friend to Keke Mas and the secretary. That's someone said. But looking at with democracy, Nasaku, I think the reason why with democracy they perform poorly is not because of President Bill. President Bill may not be getting it right. But I think we have a dysfunctional oppositions. We know they do the mandate. That's why we democratic credential. That's why we experience with NEC voter registration to date. And the reason being, I think say I go be very proud for say I go be without any fear for say some certain elements within the oppositions they about to be a very big sellout. And that they affect with democracy. Because when they pass bad laws or bad policies, some of them, whether in the parliament or some form of opposition executive, and they support them bad policies, then they not for the interest of the public, but for their own interest. Because either way, some of them go in a parliament thinks they get age, so they want to play some gamble at the expense of the people of Sierra Leone who give this president a second year mandate. Because waiting they happen so that people not able for register and voter suppression that. How many thousands or perhaps millions of people not able for register? Can you imagine like today registration open? You can believe until 3 a.m. a particular center whose time we go for register, there were not up to 50 people who don't go through the process. I mean, you want to station 2 weeks for Western urban or Western rural. How many people lay? I not even respect them statistics and census results we they give out. Now, how many people lay in the Western? Each of these districts, one machine, one center, the very slow process. How many people get registered? Then if few people are able to register, then elections then come. How many people go vote? There is a deliberate attempt for give the incumbent president a second term. And I'm sure, probably, in the ruling party stronghold, things will be going there smoothly. A lot of people will register. So with democracy, not to work well as alone because we are positions that don't fail the people of this country. The oppositions, they're not functionable. You know, we get the main oppositions, we entire executive, they be decided by an imposed judge how to run the affairs of the oppositions. We don't get a sludge and a journalist. I think the journalists then of Salou for beginning for an alternate because sludge is no longer
the roundup they call it helpful.
The state forgive them subsidy or subvention from states. The moment the state begin to give sludge, then they begin to subject them under state protocols and rules. Then means the sludge is no longer independent.
So I think caller, you make very brilliant points, and I wish you were a guest, here because you sound like very opinionated. But we get few other callers, and they wonder whether you can wrap up this call maybe with a question on a just perspective you get, whichever, or brilliant contribution.
Okay, so now the question we're about to ask Mr. Ba, now that in fight for exposed financial crime of the Bureau regime, will it end with the Bureau regime and where regime change, or will it be continuous if and when the same thing happens? That's the question I get from Mr. Ba.
All right. Many thanks, Mr. Ba. Heard you well, and I'm sure say Mr. Ba will respond in kind. But very interesting.
And also before I go, I lost the copy of the Ebola book. I don't know if side in Africa I will buy them. I need to read them back. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, and I for prepare more they come out. But if Mr. Ba being critical, then as you rightfully say, so now work will continue through to this new administration. But he will speak for himself anyway. I really do appreciate you call, and I will save this number. Very good point.
All right then. Thank you.
You're welcome, brother. Good night. Mr. Ba?
Yes. thank you for that observation, and I hope I don't answer the food question. I don't still remember till now which what I
Which food we eat?
what I've eaten. Because I don't eat several dishes during the day, so. But anyway, let me come back to the question of. I've been trying to point out this to Mr. Warise for sure that the technical difficulties encountered today, issues of computers not charged and all, we don't see the amount of monies.
Yeah.
This is going to be written out in an article and put the evidence. We don't see the exaggerated contract
Yeah.
and how much money has been taken out of the banks. So it's not the absence of funding or absence of payment. The question is, even with this amount of monies, there has been shortage in the equipment, inefficient equipment, but only in targeted areas of the country where the regime believes there are voters that will likely vote against them. So the question is, for you, what does this information, what does this mean to you? How are you going to understand this kind of funding? I decided to bring the funding question into the conversation. So maybe people out there, both Sierra Leoneans who are listening and non-Sierra Leoneans who are watching, will know exactly that we had actually spent a lot of money on this so-called pre-election preparation for this election. So why did we get what we got today?
Now, lack of willingness on the part of people already in charge for organizing a program here. They're not willing for organize them. They're not willing for do the right things. Left the corruption side of it. Where you will get willingness for Guam, you get that kind of resources there at your disposal. Trust me, by this time, a lot of people should have been registered, but willingness not there on the part. So the last caller talk about threats. You think say, Chairman, this is a threat. The government may not say threats to national security because you divulge any kind of information where you divulge. So we're supposed to be, because I mean money, me and you with money, nothing they spend. We're supposed to know. We get it for no. And the one that win a parliament, they get more rights for no than me and you. So what in the last caller been talk about? Not to just threat this particular thing, not to just threat to state security, now national survival. It a threat in national survival. Because in a democracy, now then thing there, now they make we get continued proper governance. Now then they make we get a system which we aim for do checks and balances, we aim for hold yourself accountable, we aim for attract the international community where they can help we are donor driven. So if we never get putting together a small election, right? It's disastrous. Now threat to the survival of the country itself. You start to talk about 2012, how it happened, how we go there, pick that team of independent people, including government representatives, for go watch the machine there. This time, we not remote ourselves. This is Nakuku Jimuku. Because what you do, the last caller also point that out, the opposition not willing for take the government to account. The opposition not willing for ask relevant questions. The opposition not willing for talk to government about this thing them where they can kill the country, not to just security. The country. Sierra Leone, we survivor. It hinge on how we maintain the democracy. Because Chairman, if we not get the elections right, if we not get with democracy right, hey, guess what thing happen? Donors, international community, international partners, then they stop for deal with Sierra Leone on plenty levels. Then they go back, say, hold on, we are corrupt. We don't see them. We know they give us funding. We know they give us money again. So the survival of the country, now in we talk about now. With this kind of corruption, if the ACC now serious commission, not to just they did it for lip service and for serve the government of the day, right here, right now, therefore begin for take action against them people who always mixed by this corruption what they talk about. Why make people are not get machine, they're not able to get proper systems for good register for votes? Because the lifeline of the whole country, now we will maintain democracy. Now, because we don't reach at a particular height with the democracy, now make it see Obama, not less a person than Obama, they call with President Nelson and they sit down with them, they discuss with them, they talk about affairs that way to make Sierra Leone go before. Hey, if we lost this democracy, trust me, it's a threat to we all survival. So that is, so if somebody say, oh, the issue out press release say, oh, channel are threat, nobody's going to listen to them because it's just foolish. It just make a mockery of themselves. If you not able to give people a transparent process, we all for one day we ensure say we monitor this process. We ensure say we get a proper machine before the registration. When I just keep on kuku jumuku, somebody they unearth that. Trust me, the people them will come back and say we get a savior, not to government anymore, not to opposition anymore. There we go to Cherno, not go ask them question there, which is what is happening right now. People they come to Cherno because they want for no. They need to go to Cherikoko anymore. They need to go to Imkela anymore. They need to go to Salamin anymore because they don't trust them.
Absolutely.
Come to Cherno for can ask questions about what in the opposition as Sierra Leone supposed to do. And Cherno, don't be scared. Don't not ever be scared. Say you will continue, you will stop for do that here because they threat your life and then they threat your family life. No, it's a fight for the survival of Sierra Leone, which is why I always don't say this is a part of the discussion we get. 2017, right? I say this quickly before I give the mic. 2017, we see this neck of Umfali. They've been consistent blunders. You not get this figure right. You not get that figure right. And we grapple with that democracy. We grapple. We say, something and then they go right now. This man, no, they get figures right. This man, they get thing right. This man is just a big shop. Most of the team them. With the friends alone not get an election, who say we will get Kuskas at the end of the day. Guess what happened? Up to today, Cherno, based on all of those things, the incompetence, the ineffectiveness of all of that, what happened today? We not get constituency by constituency results. Now the 2018 election, say today. Because the figure them just mix up. So you're right when you come back and say, from 2012, we ran this process. Say today, we're not able to get something right. And it didn't happen, no side. Now, outside people do not get willingness for do the right thing. If people do not get the willingness for do them, trust me, when they get all this problem, 2007, 2012, we able to get smooth and easy process. The question not be Moku. Because we get an electoral commission, I will be ready and willing for do the right things. But this time, it's just, and after this, imagine after this, what's going to happen? A lot of people that go and tell you, say, your name not come. Oh, we'll not see your name. And this is why you forget an effective opposition for hold NEC and the government accountable. So then people will at least get for register during the process.
Yes, I want to take a little break.
Chair, not cutting you off. I don't know whether I'm willing for still run the program. The program's so sweet, people are enjoying it. The numbers are growing, but we are almost on the 3 hour mark.
No, 3 hour, one for stop 3 hours, but we just want to take a quick break, show the videos, and from there we go wrap up. And then
so we get one caller from Germany.
Okay, well, let's take that call, and then we take a break.
All right, bear with me, please. Let's see whether we can get this caller from Germany. Said I was going to call. Okay, the call not go through any longer, so we'll have to leave that. But the German caller, if you still watch the program and you still want to make a call, both Messiahs Cherno Ba and Mohammed Warise are prepared for answering questions today. So, do we go to the videos?
Yes, let's take a quick break.
Okay, so let's rush in quickly.
And then
so these videos are many thanks.
We'll come back. Then we round up now for meet up the 3 hour mark.
Okay.
I know today we get a lot of comments. Maybe we go pick 2, 3. If not, we will note them for next time.
Yeah, maybe if you want to read them, that's absolutely fine. Okay, there's a caller. Let's answer this caller. Hi, caller. Your name and who say you call from, please?
Suleiman Kamara, I call from London. Good evening, Mr. Prince.
Yeah, good evening. You've got the host, Mr. Chernoba, and in guest, Mr. Warise. They listen to you.
I first of all tell you plenty thank you for establish this program. I don't mean to join una. I've been on the follow. At times I can send message. Let God bless una. Let God make una succeed. We all succeed by which una they try for do for the country. Because it's very pathetic for see leaders within the sue, within the scene other man country, then nobody do in our own country. I mean, like which one I talk about the registration is now I've had fact. Other side and day we be to say the blunder a plenty. People already come to time for letting people register people. I don't know why that's happen.
I want to let you hold it. I want to let you hold the line there. I the answer this call. I don't want to let you go away because here you the England here, so it not cost we anything. But yeah, let me answer this. Yeah. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, your name and who side you call and who side you call from, please.
This is James Lavalley. They call from Germany.
Mr. Lavalley, welcome to the program. I guess you get perspective or question for either the guest, Mr. Warise, or Mr. Ba, the host. But the platform is all yours.
Thank you so much. Just as usual, this they go directly. So of course, Mr. Ba and the host alongside Mr. Ba. I want to just first of all thank Mr. Ba for selfless, sacrifice where they continue to do for we all. And I did say this from the point of a Sierra Leonean, I mean, I'm saying this from a neutral point. But like Mr. Ba don't do so much for reveal so many things of importance for we all as Sierra Leoneans. But my biggest question now is, what else can Mr. Ba do? He has done what any other Sierra Leonean could have found very, very difficult to do. But from an angle that far, they even reveal some of them to you, and not just by talking, but with evidences, substantial evidences to the effect how corrupt this government is. So within we members of parliament, they really do for make use of the evidences there, enforce the so-called anti-corruption commission for do something about it. I don't really look, as I say this from a neutral point of view. I have no problem with the SLPP. I only have problem with this governance.
Okay.
Yes, I have no problem with the SLPP because this is not a pound and bread of SL, but I will say this: I only have problem with this governance, and with all these things we they see, they see and they listen right now as I just talk to you now, Seth. Now, then very sad revelations are here because when we look at the country, we think they go on. It's sad that so much of this money they go where USA will not know. And people are there. Look at this mood slide we happened a few days ago. When this man go to their family or whatever, and not see they even take any relief packages, not only campaign messages they go with. It's sad. So I really want to know within members of parliament they do right now, with all the revelations they are, the evidences they all Mr. Bardon they released for the past years.
Okay.
For do something about this current government. This time a question for Mr. Ba. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Lavalley, and greetings to Germany, and many thanks. Take care.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
Chairman, Mr. Warise, when I want to address that, we get one more caller I want to take. I don't know which way.
Let's take that last call, and then we will round up.
Okay. Hold the line, please. Hold the line, please. All right, it's not picking up. Oh, hello, caller.
Yes.
So first of all, me apologies, but I've been telling you, say, let you stay on the line. I sure saying that you been the talk when another
No,
call.
yeah, no. I mean, I'm happy. I mean,
Oh, okay
100%
then. Well,
happy
that's
because
fine. That's fine. We're not just
yeah,
want to inconvenience
I don't get no
anybody.
problem with that.
Okay, that's
Only
fine.
thing what we dey try for say regarding how things they go.
Okay.
Like what did the last caller say? Mr. Cherno will bless him because he bring to light a lot of things that we people will not be know. But we get weak opposition maybe to say whether they're afraid and afraid or they don't go his high matter in pocket. Now God wangry no, which then they do. We nobody no get mind for talk. I mean, I can always try for make a comparison. Look, this man at Zambia, we just don't do 1 year. The economy means minus zero. They the economy don't grow. They don't put law in your own country for say teachers, civil servants, each man entitled for like get mortgage out of the salary when they pay him, he will able to repay like by us. Why then will people not copy from the East African people like we be to say not tomorrow they go trust so that man he meets a check of 1.8 million. The brand come for sign where they not even sworn at the office. Now he say who side this come out? Hey, now you bring this so I bring this. He say no, this is taxpayers' money. Now people money. But I don't know what you people and they do. Mm-hmm. We don't really know. Then they take people their money, taxpayer money, and they kill them. On top of that,
okay,
it is really pathetic.
Okay.
But as una they bring them here to light, so God don't make the media don't be very easy for we today all. We bless una and we believe say we then are the succeed, the right path, and we must succeed.
Amen.
Now my own contribution and now Mr. Chelo, I tell him plenty thank you, Mr. Wari, who tell him plenty thank you for what you already do. And I believe say God with you, and God will save una, and God will guide una. Say go because anybody who then at the right path, like just like you know our previous speaker, which we not talk, where the preface and come with the message. Now so that they find them very difficult, but at the end of the day, they succeed because they're at the right path. So I believe say una self we don't for the right path. Me, I don't care which party we doing a power. But I don't want their supporter because why? During the young government, people and thief money, I don't say they go after them, but the very people the way you bring out for help them, now they want put them back over. So if I don't hold them people and they're very, very tight before, you see, if I don't hold them very, very tight.
Okay, no problem at all. Many
contribution, Andy.
Many thanks for that, brother. Many thanks, and have a good evening. Let's see. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Your name and who you the call from? I believe saying that you are the last caller for tonight.
All right, that is fine. Thank you. Yusuf Jallo, the call from London.
Okay.
And, I just want to say hey, big thank you, big up to you, Brother Cherno, and of course to you all, Mr. Warise. I want to thank you. It's just a couple of questions around for raise, but also I want to say that my profession is as a storyteller. As a storyteller, one thing we would learn is that every story get beginning, it get middle, it get ending. At the moment in Sierra Leone story, it seems like we're at the middle. So my first question is why? Why make we at this position? Maybe Mr. Cherno can get an answer to this. And when they say why, I'm not the only ask the question as to in relation just to this election. But now something make we dip and this kind of thing because this don't we go back all the way to when we begin elections in Sierra Leone, we did in this position.
Yeah.
Why? Is it that we did deal with just for want of a better word, an inappropriate political system within Sierra Leone? And even why make I ask this kind of question is SLPP they can bring a system where we all know for say the vast majority of people in Sierra Leone being illiterate and being illiterate no go understand much of what they try for force down with truth. And we all also know for say because of this illiteracy and the ignorance as well of people and get, it means say they're not able to ask the right questions to these so-called politicians them where they can campaign to them for make them vote for them all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm asking this question because maybe if we're actually dealing with the wrong political system, maybe we need to go back to the drawing board and begin for restructure a new story for the country. Brother Cherno is a well-educated man. Mr. Warris is also a well-educated man. You guys, you understand that philosophers shape a country. Russia right now gets a whole philosophy with them to deal with. So did China. So, of course, did Singapore and so on. So the second part of the question is, which kind of philosophy we wanna think for see we need for begin develop na Sierra Leone, way for influence the kind of politics we would play, the kind of social structure, cultural structure, and so on.
Okay.
Because I feel if we don't address them fundamental issues, then we go simply just stay on a treadmill, just the push on the treadmill, and we're not getting nowhere. Because if we not forget also a common ground we unite with. Waiting at the important things them as Sierra Leoneans we supposed for unite under. These are questions the way I don't get the full answers to, and I wonder whether the panelists them go able to throw some light on this. We for begin make with people ask sober questions when it comes to elections, rather than just ask for a bag of rice or kush or whatever it is.
Okay, lovely. Of course, you don't describe them as highly educated people, them.
Yes.
And so let's throw it back to them. Cherno Warise, una want deal with this because it's the last 2-3 and calls then still they come, but we have to end this. So the last 2-3 question them, I think they are enough. Una want deal with this, then we go to the videos. Then which way una want do them?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, what is it?
I can come in there. I can come in then chair knocking. I mean, it's not program. Man, not take the program in hand.
No. What is it? Now you're not the host. Now you're not the host. Now you're not the guest. So please respond to the questions.
Okay. so the last caller, I think it do justice to all of the callers because it shows that the last for the day because he hammer very, very serious points there. From me own perspective, democracy all over the world now a fluid system. Fluid in a sense, if we do not get people within a democratic space, we do not get people we get integrity, we get strong IQ, we are visionaries. You understand? We they look into the future, next 50, the next 60 years, how they want Sierra Leone for be. They not get that integrity. You understand? Like them Kwame Nkrumah, like them those great African leaders, like the Julius Nyerere, like the Mandela. You not get them kind of people and they inside your democracy. What's in the happen? Then system they happen. When they come because they IQ low, because they not get vision. What's in they do now for rig the system in their own favor because they want for amass power. And I think they can always go wrong because when you don't say this is like democracy, there are certain things you just cannot do. So, Mr. Jallo, we're in the last quarter, we're not wrong. What we say, that we choose the path where the British then choose, where we see the system done better, we see the country done better. We're not wrong. We choose the system where America choose, where you can America today. Me say we know to citizens here in America are able for team up, I talk, are able for I go participate in rallies where political parties and the old. What I not get no more, now the right for go vote. You understand? But it's so free that I able for set up my own business today. As long as I not rogue the system, nobody will hold me. So the problem we'll get now a problem of low IQ, now a problem of lack of integrity across the board. And now what's in the happen, Chernobyl, Chroma, the fact now that it's just gone worse. It's just gone worse. I remember during the CRC, we in our democracy alone, we set up, we put together our own recommendations. We put together our own thing that we think say for the inside the new constitution or the review constitution. We say one permanent day for be a thing usai no Sierra Leone no go ask in company, you know which tribe. Waiting do because we don't forget Sierra Leone together under one umbrella, we need to look at somebody for in tribe. Just like what Rwanda do after the tragedy, after the war, we make them kickstart. In Rwanda, you need to go to Rwanda, ask any Rwandese, say, what's in a tribe? As it turns to what you go, no say this is a foreigner. Because the Rwanda no say, enough for ask other Rwanda what's in a tribe. But today, what you get in Sierra Leone, mother be go for look up. If you not be Mende, if you not come out of the southeast, you don't get position, you don't get favor with them. And this for me, it been there. Not get me wrong. It been there, but it not been this worst because we no say people them. Then they give power based on who side they come out, based on the region, based on the tribe. But it not been this worst to the point that if not to mandate they had any of the institution there, the institution not go forward. It's just sickening. So my brother, Mr. Jallo, when I last call her, we political system not inappropriate. It's appropriate. We need to look at the constitution back. We need to make certain changes then there. We need to do them for Sierra Leone. And I think say, Usa will agree with you, maybe if we do constitution, we're not going to do them under any government. We're going to make sure so we get an interim body where they manage the constitution, review them, then we present to the people of Sierra Leone. Because any of them party here, we gain power, then we the constitution, they not the interest. Then we favor them. Just like how they will go to parliament for make law, we favor them for that 2-3 days. Forgetting the bigger picture, forgetting waiting million picking them, get for come and enjoy in Sierra Leone tomorrow. Forgetting all of that because they get low IQ. But for someone up, this parliament and this opposition at this parliament, let I tell you, now then 3 days. The C4C, where I think I've been Salamina also, now in the head, the C4C in a parliament, even on join government no longer. They don't join the Madabio system. Is not they oppose anymore. They did it as an SLPP parliamentarian wearing the PMDC clothes. When the NGC, when a Yunkela, a compromise. What's making him compromise? And that is dangerous because it just in a position outside the wait for like either Madabio or Samora Kamara, whosoever will be flag bearer and APC, make them running mate. So you don't worry about the people who even talk to Trade, we be rallying at NGC say, and they come against Alassane or Alusain. No, now in the wait for one panel two sire, make them running mate. The one we get when at Cherikoko, when are the biggest political party in the parliament, we get the biggest members in the parliament, in compromise to the extent that he cannot talk. All what they do, any way the government get program, they go for either go dance or for go become cozy with them, not oppose them, where them talk in international forums, where people then bring up Sierra Leone, now in the defend government in their forum then they. So it compromise to the point that what you want now for usurp power within the APC. Let it get power, make Sabora not get may Aneskoma not get again, may any other person not get pass him. Now if forget the power going forward now APC. So what he do? He decides to say, okay, make us sell out to Madabio, let Madabio get a second term, so I will achieve my own agenda of usurping power within the APC. I think that this type of position, what we get in Sierra Leone and the parliament right now, we make the none cannot say, they cannot talk, they cannot hold government accountable. And I think say it's sad for me. For the make an end, I tell the people of Sierra Leone say, when I go for grab, once we day international, they ensure say we make the international world, the world hear about what happened in Sierra Leone. We not second forget the willingness for say this government, we get for remove them. How would they remove them? Through the ballot box. Because me, I don't want for Yeri, but anything we not overthrow, I don't want for Yeri, but anything we not coup, we therefore ensure so we go out, register in numbers, in we millions for make sure so the day for vote, we go and go vote this man out. Otherwise, with democracy, they're in danger and the survival of Sierra Leone, it at stake.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think say we don't get a very wonderful 3 hours initial show. You don't almost sum up almost everything. I just be one for commend you for a wonderful participation. I know say 3 hours is no small time. You get any additional advice for Sierra Leoneans as they go register again tomorrow? We already see the difficulties today with question of registration, and we don't highlight in passing while we mention this the failure of opposition parties to become opposition parties, and also civil society and the collective silence of the opposition, and why. I cannot say it better than you've already highlighted it. And I just want to know if you get any additional parting words as a way of advice. Or already don't tell us, say, the ballot box and all of that regarding registration. Apart from just for register, what do they need to do after if they succeed for register? What advice do you have for them?
What do you think again, Cherno? I think say we're going to tell the people of Sierra Leone now that we don't unearth the fact, say the opposition or key members within the opposition they work against the interest for give Marabio a second term. We therefore ensure say we tell the people them you sleep, your registration sleep. That sleep when they give the way you register. Be very, very mindful whether they give for keeper, because you know I will give somebody maybe we don't compromise within the opposition. They go turn into Marabio. Time for go for your voter ID card, you not get her. You understand? Or time for go vote, you not get your sleep, or you not get your voter ID card for go vote. And when it come to them, you voter ID card, when they don't give you voter ID card, you therefore be very, very mindful again of people the way they give within your party for keeper for you, because we don't see in the past. We saw people that get me. I've been keep plenty of voters card because people that mean trust me. So where time reach, I mean area, they mean just come and give them. So now you have to be very, very careful, you have to be mindful who that they give you voter card for keeper for you, so that on election day you're able to go, because we don't see the conspiracy against we own democracy in. We don't see the how people they don't cohort for ensure say then destroy democracy. We got to be mindful. Go to register, God willing, when you register, make sure you keep your sleep and give a trusted person you sleep and go wait for elections day where you go vote.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Warise, for your wonderful time and insight into this conversation. Definitely, this is not going to be the last time. And
I want to say thank you very much, Cherno. Thank you very much, because as it stands today, I don't call you the hero yet. Don't wait. The people are going to come out and call you the hero. But as it stands today, you know one of the biggest hope we Sierra Leoneans can get. Probably the international community, but you, as a Sierra Leonean, you know one of the biggest hope. Thank you very much.
Thanks. And I look forward for more conversation with you. I also want to use this opportunity for summarize some of the conversations. I know this kind of meetings will not end. This is not the formal beginning of the Frontline show. We intend for hold this conversation every Saturday. And as we move along, based on the emerging issues, we're going to bring in more guests, including Sierra Leoneans and non-Sierra Leoneans who are familiar with the questions we would bring at the platform here. And we want to thank then and now and Mr. Prince Kroma for the wonderful courage we here for talk about some of these serious issues. We will continue. I want to assure Sierra Leoneans that we will continue our voter education campaign. We will continue to monitor the electoral process, and we will call upon Sierra Leoneans and friends of Sierra Leone also for pay attention to what is happening. And I want for sale also.
Hold the line. Cherno, you hear me?
Yeah, they hear you.
I got a caller where they beg. Of course, we don't close the line, but they beg. Say you want to say something quickly. But this is your show, and sorry again, I get for intervene when I'm persistent, and sometimes you don't know what.
Well, maybe we'll take the last caller. Then we'll summarize.
Okay, last caller. You're on the line. Your name and also you call from. You need for lower the thing where you watch from to 0, so that we'll be able for hear you.
Yeah, I don't really use your volume. Channel, how you do?
I do well.
Channel, how you do, man?
I do well. Thank you very much for the question. Thank you.
Yeah, I say I just the weekly idea to follow the program. I just want to take this opportunity for commenting on what they do. When I really push, and I believe with Tuna democracy in a better footing. The part of the program me week late for me, I made a call from Sydney.
And I've been just one man. I don't know the sometimes when I've been on discuss more on because I listen with so much. Because most of the thing with people who they talk to from the other parts of the world, most of the children they complain, then they find them very difficult to go register. Like the authorities, the way they go about especially the opposition members, then they struggle for him to register. And the way where the information that they trickle down to them, the way them they expect, you understand? It's because of most of the things that would happen recently. So most of the people that want to talk to the experience that really tell me, you understand? And no you with una way they behind this all the push for this registration, sensitization, which una don't do and what una plan for do for una make sure say una help for enlightening people that are letting and force the authorities them back home, let allow the people and let the people register and then let the right information reach the people which una want to do to which una therefore do towards that. I'm sorry if I ask this question now because it just make sense.
That's a good one. You're a very smart man. So revisit the program. Very, very interesting program along with callers. You go here waiting people and say and waiting both Chernobyl and Inge speak to the identical question where you they ask about. Very good question. Thank you so much from Sydney, Australia.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Like I say, we will continue voter education campaign. Mr. strongly believe in the power of the vote. I believe, say, Sierra Leoneans have been sufficiently educated regarding this time and like any other time, but more so this time about the importance of the ballot. The importance of the ballot. And if we all don't agree, say, ballot box democracy is what we need, then we therefore allow the people the right for participate in the electoral process. And I will repeat, if the president of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, believes in his record of performance, in his performance record, that he don't do right, he should not be afraid of elections. He should not be afraid of allowing the people of Sierra Leone the opportunity for participate in the electoral process. It's their constitutional right. And again, it is the responsibility of the elected members of parliament, whether they are ruling party members of parliament or opposition parties of all kinds of opposition parties, for understand that the responsibility for assist them people for register. At this time, for example, the opposition members of parliament in areas where where registration centers open should be able to know how many registration centers open, how they went along, how people would say, in fact, not to we own place for begin to talk about it. It should be their responsibility,
of course,
to provide us with this information right now, today. Say center X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C in my constituency, in this particular ward, have X, Y, and Z problems. But these complaints were coming from ordinary citizens with no assistance from their councillors, with the exception of that councillor who did very well, providing a report about people would not see that kind of situation from MPs.
I hope they don't go arrest
MPs were only posting.
I hope they don't go arrest them
today.
Yeah.
Now the 3rd of September 2022, the registration will start. That is part of the country. I come with my team. That the far east of Freetown, and I come observe the registration process. Of course, we get a lot of people, and we wanna see the Timap Nadosu, na the people that we not go through the NCRE, they don't pull the do, they say until and unless they go through the NCRE before they allow them to go through the neck procedures. So now they did not do so. They not allow them to go through the NCRE. NCRE staffs they not carry it. The NCRE people they not carry it to the machine. And now one green machine na neck they use. One green machine na neck they use for the registration. The NCRE staffs they not carry it. So now if you not go through the NCRE, you know go through the voters registration. Thank you very much. Once again, today, now the 3rd of September 2022, the registration starts. Nayasu and Amasuna. We don't see everything. Thank you.
Yeah, like how we say that
You know, register the NCRA. So you be don't register the NCRA, eh?
No, I don't be registered.
So now we go under now they still wait, right?
They say make I wait.
Let's go through the NCRA
Yes,
first.
the your machine get for camp.
Okay,
Another
okay.
different machine.
But you vote 2018. Let's
Yes.
say I have vote 2018, I go register it. I want the votes, no go to 90, I go wait.
Yeah, register.
So you go
I go to the 100,000. The person, the police who are going they say don't die. This is an hand of teacher. I go to the man now. Come to I said, no, Gamba. Now, teacher said, I come to say that you body don't die. They don't give me a given you my number, yes. Now, all you ready is the same. For me, I've been doing the over.
Ward 58, one of the key zoning of Ward 58, constituency 068 in Abo. So far the registration they go on smoothly, everybody they in line, they register. So all man they wait for in time, then he register. So far no complaint, no kind inside it. Everything they go on smoothly, the process they go on smoothly. Everybody they go into the process and they get registered. If you want the way then come with they not be registered with the NCRA, they don't ask them for wait small while then they look into the issue for register and smoothly. So far nobody not come out, nobody they don't ask no one out it. Everybody they in line, the one they waiting the wait and the wait and the registration they go on smoothly. Yeah, so far Naboya and this Q zone no complaint no day in a constituency 068 ward 58.
Sharing a final word?
Yeah. The 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 question what they try for say or the issue what they try for raise now the fact that opposition parties get the responsibility, as Mr. Wadi say, get the responsibility for ensure say the supporters and register where the issues or the technical difficulties exist. Now the responsibility for also assist. Now the responsibility for also assist then members or supporters for register. All of the issues we don't flag and talk about, now the responsibility for raise. Each member of parliament get the responsibility for also dinner the constituency and highlight all of these issues that we're talking about. But they don't fail for do that. And because they fail for do that, now the reason make people then turn up today with almost aimlessly, nobody there to respond and address their issues. And we will still continue to highlight that sufficient money has been issued out for logistics and all of the things that as to read them out, we for not allow them to take we'll never encounter these difficulties with computers, chargers, or all of this. And we want to underline the fact that all these difficulties again happen in mostly places we consider opposition strongholds in Freetown and other parts of the country where people are being referred to as terrorists, where the demonstrations happen, where the protests happen. And we could still continue to encourage people for register turn up for register, call on your members of parliament, let them raise the concerns and raise the issues. We will continue to monitor the process and ensure that people are able to register and participate in the electoral process. So we want to thank Kuna very much for this.
But there was one, Chairman, there was one member of parliament, I think constituency 69,
okay,
who was very effective.
So
I don't remember in name, but you see in photos them all over. He launched a whole program like constituency.
Excellent.
For educate people. Those are
the kind of examples we will see all over.
You for us see all over. We expect for us see all over, all the constituency them. Una the MPs they una go, una engage in a community, una engage the people. I think some other launch may happen in a place like Kabbalah, you know, Kwenadugu. So will see people that come out at the eve of the registration. Some opposition people that do that one day. That is what you expect of the opposition. Thank you very much. More not than time because
so see you next week, Saturday. Thank you, everyone. And again, before we go, we want to tell Una, say, check the Right for Justice website. We get a form where you can report difficulties with voter registration, and we aggregate all of them and they highlight them as we're able to verify them. More so, again, we get the open phone number +1 410 300 2090. I will post that on my Facebook page, and also for to receive complaints with voter registration, and also we ongoing investigation into extrajudicial killings and other human rights violations. Thank you very much, and we look forward for seeing you next week on Saturday as well. Thank you, Mr. Warise, and then and now.